Abbas Bodija. It's the traveling Explorers of LaSalle and the hosting Fordham Rams. And it's next on WFUV Sports. Coach, coming into this one with LaSalle, you're getting healthy. It seems like at the perfect time. What does that do for your team, especially down the stretch of this conference slate, getting your team healthy and in a place where they can come together?
You're just going into I feel like we're going on a gunfight with a knife at times in some of the earlier games in conference, and now you just feel like you have your weapons, you have versatility, and then you have depth. Like you can guys getting tired out there, you could put another guy out and that can do some things out there. So, and then I just think the spirit of the team, when you have a full team, you can just feel the spirit rise throughout the week.
And with Roar coming back, it just adds another dynamic to your offense, especially in the three-point shooting department. This is a LaSalle team that not only gives up a lot of threes, but also has given up threes at a really high percentage this year. What are some of the keys to getting better looks from outside and putting them in? Man,
I think we're gonna get threes, and hopefully we knock them down. We get rhythm threes, and they're the right kinds. But they also give up 2-point percentage. This defense will give up 2-point percentage if you can find penetration. So we're going to stick to that, finding penetration, using our guards and some of our ball screen looks, and definitely throwing the ball in still. I still think we got to stick with that and hang our hat on that. It gives us a chance. Rebounding, it keeps our offensive rebounding in play as well, as long as we take care of the ball. I think Roar for sure adds that. We saw it in practice. He hit 3 big threes yesterday in practice, and he's going to let it go. He's going to let it go with reckless abandon, and we kind of need that. Somebody out there who's just in attack mindset and fearless, and so hopefully he bangs a couple a day.
And Coach, even when things haven't gone well for your team, Day Reeves seems to always be there and be this consistent line of really good scoring and really good defense on both ends of the floor. He's been great. How valuable is he to your team, especially when things necessarily aren't going well?
He means everything just because we say, I guess the losses mean that things aren't going well, but we've been in these games because Day's been able to consistently produce offensively despite everybody's coverage focusing in on him. And then he's defending the other opponent's usually best player. So, I've been lucky for my 6 years as head coach to have a guard, and Day is that guard this year that's been able to do that on both ends. He's a two-way player, first one on the floor, brings that consistent energy as well. His leadership is improving. I thought he gave it all he had at Davidson. That was an emotional loss for him. But, I think the guys, they're kind of sensing that, and I think it's time that we get Day's back and everybody. It's a full team effort tonight, and we bring it in that sense.
Yeah, there's an entertaining performance from him at Davidson as well.
There's been a lot of close games so far in A10 play, and you're playing against another team that plays at a slow pace. All of those games in the A10 season have been really, really tight, but you guys are 1-4 in single-digit games. LaSalle is 3-1. That's where they've really carved out an advantage in conference play so far. When you think about down the stretch executing and finishing off games, and you've talked about so much the importance of just how difficult it is to get one win. What are some of the keys you look the last 8 minutes to ensure that you're able to hang on if you have a lead?
I think you have to shut down their go-to guys, and down the stretch it's going to be number 2, Marshall, and can't give up stuff to number 5 inside, number 24, and number 5 are great rebounders, good physical presences, and then number 9's really been up to 99. Dockery's really been coming on, and then for us just having our understanding what we're doing with our closing package, and I thought we've done a pretty good job there. If we took care of the ball, if we've taken care of the ball, we've been able to figure out who our closer is down the stretch. It's been Day a lot, and we've been able to get him in space and get pretty good looks down the stretch. But, it's really, when it comes down, even Davidson, we guarded tremendously.
Welcome into the Rose Hill Gym. We'll take you live to some A10 action between the hosting Fordham Rams and the traveling LaSalle Explorers. I'm Chris Carino, joined by my partner, Joe Henry. We're right up on it, just a few seconds away from tip-off, Joe. An exciting matchup for the Rams to get back on track, on the right page, and hopefully in the win column.
It feels like a must-win game at that. It's a LaSalle team that Fordham's expected to compete well against, but it's also a LaSalle team that's amid its best stretch of the season. Probably its best two games of the season, or its last 2 games. That's what Fordham has to contend with coming off of a tough road loss. The stakes feel high tonight.
For the traveling Explorers, it's Josiah Harris along with Rob Dockery, Jerome Brewer Jr., Truth Harris, and Jaden Johnson. That rounds out the starting five. Jaden Marshall has been a major piece for this team coming off the bench. He will start the game on the bench. The tip-off goes to LaSalle, and the Explorers will start this one off. Top of the key, Harris, dribble handoff to number 10, Jaden Johnson, the Old Trafford. I said Old Trafford. That's the home of the Manchester United Football Club. The Old Dominion transfer with a nice pass inside, a finish inside, and that's how we'll start here. LaSalle up 2-0 to get us going in the Bronx. For the home Fordham Rams, it's Christian Henry, Jack Whitmore, Akira Jacobs, Rika Schulte, who sends a lob pass inside to Jack Whitmore, who's fouled under the basket. That'll be a reach-in on the floor. And rounding out that starting five, Joe, Day Reeves. Day Reeves has been the engine for this Fordham team, was fantastic in their only winning conference play at 31 against St. Bonaventure, was fantastic, and their last effort against Davidson has really been the star that he was sponsored and sort of promoted to be in the offseason. Three in the left corner, no good for Christian Henry. Rebound brought down by Truth Harris. Truth Harris will hold on to it, drifting over to the right wing in bright orange and Edward twos. Pass in the left corner, drive baseline, pass in the middle, and now they'll be dribbled around slowly. It's Edwin Daniel. Shot three from the left wing corner, no good for Truth Harris. Rebound under the basket from the Rams. Christian Henry's bringing it up for Fordham. Has it top of the key. Henry directing his off-ball movement past Rika Schulte on the right wing, up top to Day Reeves. Reeves going right around a Schulte screen, dribbling around defenders. Pass in the right corner. Christian Henry inside to Jack Whitbourne. Jack Whitbourne navigating out of the right post. Out, Akira Jacobs. Perimeter three, it's good! Akira Jacobs, catch and shoot from the left wing goes, and the Fordham Rams have a 3-2 lead, 18.5 to go in the first half.
Chris, if they're going to double Jack Whitbourne in the low post, you bet he's going to pass out to the team's best starting shooter on Akira Jacobs. That's a great first scoring possession for Fordham.
Pass back out left corner, Dockery. Dockery thinks to drive behind the back dribble. Ball is lost, picked up by Christian Henry. Rams are moving the other way. Pass inside, Day Reeves, tries to finish under the basket, doesn't get it to go, but a foul called under the basket. Believe that one is going to go on Edwin Daniel, the Connor State transfer. It'll be LaSalle's first shooting foul, their second foul in general.
Rika Schulte, near the top 10 in the A-10 in steals per game, is the guy who started that play, and then it was a little bit sloppy getting up the floor. Chris Henry out to Schulte, another sloppy pass into Reeves, gets fouled, gets the line. But you love to see off of a live ball turnover, this team out and running, looking up ahead and finding the guy who's leaked out in transition. Good things happen, and how about two personal fouls right away against LaSalle for Fordham to get an advantage in the free throw category, which, as we've talked about all year, is oh so important.
First free throw is good for Day Reeves. Day Reeves so steady at the line this season so far. His backcourt mate Christian Henry not as so lucky at the line. Christian Henry has been struggling all season at getting it to go consistently at the free throw line as Day Reeves makes the second. Day Reeves, along with the rest of his game, consistent at the free throw line.
And Fordham throwing out a full court press here early on. We barely see that out of these Rams, especially in conference play against good teams.
Fordham aggressive with a 5-2 lead, 17:50 to go in this first half. An array of dribble handoffs, top of the key for LaSalle. A stop and go for Johnson, pass on the left wing. Dockery pump fakes, drives inside, out to the left corner. That three, it's good! Quick three for Jerome Brewer Jr. and the McNeese State transfer has LaSalle level. 5-5, 17.5 to go in the first half. Day Reeves, quick right wing three, no good on that very quick possession. That'll go the other way toward LaSalle, out of bounds. Christian Henry not happy with Akira Jacobs at the top of the key, Joe.
I didn't see exactly what happened. Maybe he wanted a screen from Jacobs to get into the action. I like an open Day Reeves three in early shot clock situations when the only guy's uncomfortable shooting. Having shoot a three early shot clock, but it's important that Day gets going from the perimeter. He's only shooting 19% in A-10s from three.
And that three, no good for the Explorers. Day Reeves corrals it down for the Fordham defense. He has it the other way. Christian Henry, left wing, drives inside. Drives baseline, stops. Fade away, no good from the mid-range. LaSalle brings it down.
And just as imperative that Henry gets going as a scorer.
Johnson, pass to Dockery, no good at the rim. Christian Henry gets the batted ball out on the rebound.
And Fordham trying to run off of these rebounds. Everyone crashes in the paint. Henry's going to start the offense with some speed.
Rams moving fast. Schulte out of the right block, backing down his defender. Kick out. Henry straight on. Pump fakes, drives inside, spins in the lane. Kick out Jacobs. His three, no good. Ball batted around by a few players on the court. That one will be a baseline out of bounds. Fordham ball. Could have gone either way. Fordham gets it out of kind of pure luck there, and they'll have a second chance offensively.
It's the kind of hustle, Chris, that has eluded the Rams defensively on the glass in recent games. Rika Schulte and Jack Whitbourne, two of the best rebounders flat out in the conference, haven't been as good the past 3 or 4 games, but that was Rika Schulte fighting on the baseline, throwing it off of a defender.
And Akira Jacobs getting it on the inbound, deep on the right wing. Jack Whitbourne coming out of this one, the starting 5 for Fordham. Rory Core subbing into this one. He's been injured since the Richmond game, Joe. He's coming back after a long period away, and the Fordham Rams have missed him, and they haven't missed that. That's a turnover, a non-forced turnover for Fordham offensively, and that was on the right wing. I believe that was a travel, Joe.
I think they're calling against Schulte for an illegal screen on the right wing, and for Rory, he's been out since Dayton, the A-10 opener, so he only played 10, 12 minutes.
First one he missed was
in
the
Dayton.
Richmond.
He banged 2 threes in that game. 18-year-old true freshman. Mike Magpio said they miss his fearlessness. Just a guy who's a willing shooter and also brings you length.
Now in the right mid-range, no good on the fadeaway. That one was from Jaden Johnson, the Old Dominion transfer. It'll be out of bounds on the baseline. It'll stay with LaSalle. LaSalle with their second chance.
And you really
Abbas
can't.
Bodija, another guy who has dealt with injuries and a lack of health. He's subbing into this one as well for the Rams. Akira Jacobs taking a seat. Also, Joe, wanted to mention this. Mentioned Josiah Harris was starting for LaSalle, opening, talking about the starting lineups. That was incorrect. We got faulty information. It's actually Edwin Daniel, the Connor State transfer, in the starting lineup for LaSalle. Josiah Harris starting the last 11 games for LaSalle. He started this one on the bench this evening.
Yeah, and we haven't seen him yet, have we?
No, we have not. The starting 5 still out there for LaSalle. Another out-of-bounds play on the offense for LaSalle. It'll stay with them on this side of the floor.
You really can't underscore the importance of Roar Core returning to this team. You look at the box score, okay, he averages 6 points a game. That's a little bit of a boost. But no, this is flat out your best shooter. He's a dead-eye shooter. He'll hit a shot with a hand in his face. He can space the floor. He's developing all of his skills. Again, 18 years old, out of Australia, one of the youngest players in the conference. He certainly doesn't act like it on the floor, but trying to develop those skills at attacking closeouts, because guys are closing out hard on a guy who's shooting 40% from 3, so becoming a willing slasher, becoming a disciplined defender on the perimeter, and another underrated aspect from Roar that helps develop this team and kind of fill in some of the gaps that have been missing in A-10 play is that he's a guy who's going to fly in on the glass. So when your bigs are boxing out and you need one of your smaller 3 players to come in and get a board, he's the guy who will do that. He's got a big wingspan. He's fast. He's twitchy. He's going to help fill in a lot of the cracks that have been glaringly missing since he left.
Yeah, similar to Ryan Pettis, who this team's also been out with since around Thanksgiving. He's the kind of guy who's just going to get on the floor, do a lot of the dirty work, and really get busy. Also his age, Joe. Obviously, maybe the most optimistic point of view on Roar Core. He's a true freshman, a young kid to have as much talent and as much sort of promise as Roar Core does.
Absolutely.
Potential, even, the word I was looking for.
Yeah, potential, I think, is the word. You could say that for so many guys on this Fordham team. And you mentioned Bodija just checking in. He's only a redshirt freshman. He's got 4 years of eligibility. Matt Hurwitz is down in Australia right now visiting with the Accors, with the Bodijas. Fordham realizes the talent that they have in their underclassmen. Between them, Jack Whitbourne, another Australian-born player. Rika Schulte is just a junior. Akira Jacobs as well. Chris Henry potentially could have another year of eligibility. There's so many key pieces on this team, and you thought about it as we came in as this old team, so many grad students. But in reality, a lot of the impact players this year are on the younger side, and a lot of those people, you look at Roar Core, Abbas Bodija, Akira Jacobs, they're so physically gifted, you feel like you're just scratching the surface with what they're doing.
And I'm sure Coach Mike Magpio and his staff wants to keep those guys around, not just for this year, but for the future in general.
Yeah, and high character players as well. We
Absolutely.
can attest to that. Really, everyone on the team has been extraordinary character, and that was something that Mike Magpio focused on recruiting. And it matters. And you look at LaSalle, like their second best player last year, Deuce Jones, was the rookie of the year in the A-10. He transferred to St. Joe's, but apparently the culture fit was just really poor, and he ended up having to leave the team. And it's one of those situations, the NIL era and the transfer portal era, having players that are high character guys that will fit seamlessly in with a team really matters.
Back to the action here in the Bronx. No good from Brewer in the mid-range for LaSalle. That one off back rim. It'll go out of bounds. Fordham ball. Both these teams now 2 for their last 12 combined from the floor. Fordham spending their last 2:14 scoreless, and LaSalle spending almost the last 2 minutes scoreless. So not a lot of scoring in the last 2 minutes or so for both these teams. 5-5 tie, 15:40 to go in this first half. A trap for LaSalle. Christian Henry passes out of it. Left wing three, no good for Abbas Bodija, and LaSalle is going the other way. Ashton Walker driving from the left wing. On Day Reeves, trying to kick it out. He does. Finds Dockery. Dockery driving through the middle of the lane. Heavy contested. Doesn't matter. It goes. Rob Dockery and one on Rikus Schulte. Pretty much in the heart of the defense. It didn't matter. The bucket plus the foul, Joe. What a play from the Radford transfer, or the Texas A&M transfer. My mistake.
No, he's not their leading scorer, only 8.4 a game. But he might be their best player because he's so dynamic offensively. Mike McPile raved about him. He said, look, we can double him, but he can pass. He's a guy who can shoot, but he also has a 6'6 frame. It's going to be a matchup nightmare for a Fordham team that has a lot of smaller guards and then big bigs. We don't really have, besides maybe Louis Lesmond, a wing who matches up perfectly with the guy of Dockery's physicality. 6'6", 215 as well. He's a strong player and an impact player on both ends of the floor.
LaSalle now on a 6-0 run. 8-5, 15 minutes to go in this first half. Henry has it top of the key. Looks around for a pass, finds Day Reeves. Reeves will shift to Henry's position at the top of the key. Now on the left wing, penetrates inside, puts up a contested layup, no good. A fight for it on the offensive glass. LaSalle ends up grabbing it. They're coming the other way with speed. In transition, pump fake, and then a shot taken. Marshall's three is good. Cool and as calm as you can like. A pump fake and then a three taken from the left wing from Jaden Marshall. The guy we talked about, Joe, that is just so important for them off the bench.
Leading scorer who has volunteered to start coming off the bench for this team, and as soon as he did, everything clicked into gear. He's the only guy that is a sniper from range, and he's left wide open there.
Left wing three, no good for Christian Henry. The three-point struggles continue for the Rams, and now LaSalle has it. Walker on the right wing, pass to Dockery. Dribble handoff to Marshall. Marshall, nice crossover on the left wing, drives inside, kicks out. Another kick out off the drive from Brewer. Brewer gets it back, right corner, his three. No good, off left side of rim. Roar Core is there flying in for the defensive rebound.
I miss seeing Roar Core's sudden vertical.
And he's taking a three on the other end. Doesn't get it to go. Bodija is there on the offensive glass. Nice bounce pass inside to Schulte, who cleans it up.
That's so important. This Fordham team gets so many second chances, and so seldom do they convert on them. Abbas Bodija, a redshirt freshman, having the wherewithal to pass after getting a no board and finding the open man in Schulte. Great two-man game down low. The boards Fordham has won so far.
Walker spinning in the lane, taking a mid-ranger and getting it to go. The fadeaway jumper right inside the free throw line for Walker goes. LaSalle back out to a 6-point lead. 13-7, 13-19 to go in this first half. Christian Henry standing on the middle of the Fordham script logo at center court. Pass to Day Reeves. Day Reeves right around the Schulte screen. Picked up by a double team. Drives inside. Pump fake, then a shot. No good at the rim. Off right side of rim. Walker running in transition. Pass to his right. Marshall pump faking from three. Now pass right corner. Walker's three. No good off front rim. Offensive rebound from LaSalle. Putback is good. Josiah Harris, who notably started this one on the bench after starting their last 11, he got his first bucket of the game.
And just as I say that Fordham's winning on the glass, LaSalle has come alive in the O-boards. That's a huge concern for Fordham. Their first time in a while getting out-rebounded on the offensive glass. Last time out against Davidson. Can't afford to have that happen again.
Edwin Daniel getting the start in place of Harris, and Harris showing his effectiveness right there. Rikus Schulte left block, backing down his defender. Right-handed hook, middle of the lane goes. Rikus Schulte clinical in the post, and he brings Fordham back within 6. 15-9, 12-12 to go.
He's been so effective this year when he spins to the middle of the floor from the left side and finishes with the right hand. That's something that the team is focused on. Finishing with your right hand. He's been so much more effective that way, but he hasn't gone to it a whole lot.
Fordham looking for a big substitution on the next dead ball. Walker at the top of the arc, picked up on a double team, passes out, right corner, Brewer spinning, kicks out to Walker once again. Walker passing to a wide open left wing three, no good from Dockery, and Fordham with the rebound. Dockery stole it. Dockery's layup, no good, blocked by a boss, and it's out of bounds, staying with LaSalle. Dockery stealing it away from from a defensive rebound brought down by a boss. That's real second chance effort from LaSalle, and it shows why they have this early lead, Joe.
And Bodija made such a heady play a couple plays ago off the O board to find an open Schulte and to be so patient and make that bounce pass inside. But on this play, he gets the rebound, and he should have used that same patience there. Instead, he rushes a pass to Henry, trying to get that quick outlet, get the offense moving off the missed shot. But Henry, even though he'll be credited for the turnover, had no idea that Dockery was looming right behind him. Bodija's the guy who would have seen that, and instead he passed it right away. Henry tried to rip through and drive up the floor, and Dockery was ready, just took the ball away.
And we've seen it as a bigger theme this season, but communication, if that can improve, this Fordham team will play a whole lot more united than they've been playing so far.
It's going to be interesting because you have Roar Core coming back, so now this is the healthiest your team has been in maybe 2 months, maybe even the entire season, hard to say. And we saw right before the break, Fordham's readying to sub in 4 new players. We're going to see a lot more lineups that we just haven't seen play together maybe all season, or at the very least in a long time. So it's a learning on the fly process of how well these guys can gel with each other.
We'll see that new lineup after the break, but first we're going to send it to the Rose Hill Studios for a one-on-one scoreboard update with Ari Patel. Take it away, Ari.
One-on-one scoreboard.
At 7 o'clock tonight, it is a homecoming game for the King, as LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers will travel to LeBron's original stomping grounds as the Lakers take on Donovan Mitchell and the Cleveland Cavaliers in an interconference matchup between the Cavaliers' all-time great player and future all-time great player. The New York Knicks are traveling up north to Scotiabank Arena to take on the Toronto Raptors in an Eastern Conference matchup. The Knicks are looking to keep their number 3 ranking in the East with a win, but with Toronto looking to play spoiler, they are looking to take the 3 seed for themselves tonight at 7:30. And finally, at 9:30, we have a battle for Texas as Victor Wembanyama and the 2-seeded San Antonio Spurs travel to Houston to take on Kevin Durant, the number 4th ranked Rockets. The Rockets and the Spurs are currently 1-1 on the year, and the winner of this game will have a huge advantage going into the last matchup of the year. And we can't forget about the Giannis trade rumors running rampant right now. We have to wonder who could get him. The Warriors, Heat, Bulls, Knicks, and hey, maybe even the Hornets. But that's all the time we have now. I'm Travis Hayden, and this has been the one-on-one scoreboard update.
Back here at the Rose Hill Gym, a slow start for the Fordham Rams. The Explorers of LaSalle leading the Fordham Rams 15-9, 11:40 to go in this first half. Chris Carino joined by Joe Henry. Joe, it's been a slow start for Fordham. What are some of the places you can pinpoint that they just need to improve?
Well, I don't even look at what's happened within the game so far, even though there's plenty to pick on. But how about Louis Lesmond and Marcus Green coming in for their first rotation? 2 guys that have struggled, but have shown some signs when they've gotten in lately. I think this is a huge stretch for both of them. This is our prove-it games for a couple of guys who are expected to play bigger roles than they have recently.
Walker passing on the left wing. That 3 from Marshall. Pump faked, given back out to Walker. Walker redirecting the offense with his right hand, calling for a screen. Goes left around to Daniel's screen. Left block, fade away jumper goes. That is a circus shot for Ashton Walker that the Catholic University transfer gets to go.
It's a LaSalle team that's not afraid to take mid-rangers. They don't always take the most efficient shots, but they have a lot of guys who love to create in the mid-range area. That time Walker denied on a drive. How about I step back on the baseline and just drill a 2? A true freshman doing that as well.
Whitborn dribble handoff to Day Reeves. Day Reeves pass to Marcus Green, left wing. Green immediately fires a 3, and he doesn't get anything. An air ball on the right side of the rim, and LaSalle will take it back over offensively. Fordham ice cold offensively.
It's so hard to say. Like, if you're a coach, you love to see that confidence. You come off the bench and you immediately shoot on your first touch when you have a little bit of space for Marcus Green. That's what you were brought here to do, to be a shooter. But on the other hand, an air ball, maybe you're overzealous. Some of the coaching points that have been troublesome for Fordham really all year long.
Walker. Gonna go fake right, go left around a Daniel screen. Finds himself middle of the lane, absorbs contact off the chest from Whitborn and gets the shot to go. No foul called, but the shot goes, and LaSalle's lead continues. It's now in the double digits, 19-9, 10-14 to go in this first half.
And Chris, you can feel the dis-ease in the building.
Yeah, you can. Day Reeves splitting the defenders, putting up a shot at the rim, an up and under layup with the right hand goes, and the Day split continues to gain notoriety, Joe.
I mean, what has this kid done all year long when Fordham's been on the recipient of a big run from the opponent? He's ended it with poise, getting to the rim, stepping back in the mid-range. He's the guy who will end an opponent's run and spark one for your own team.
That bunny floater in the middle of the lane goes for the McNeese State transfer, Jerome Brewer Jr. Jerome Brewer Jr., a big guy with a lot of size who's been really steady in the early stages of this one for LaSalle. Left wing Marcus Green right around a Whitbourne screen, tries to get it back to Whitbourne, and he's fouled. Picked up a excited double team, and it was Truth Harris picking up the foul on the floor, and it'll be an inbound for Fordham. Fordham still not in the bonus. Only 5 fouls in between these two teams so far. 9.5 to go in this first half.
They drew 2 fouls in the first 2 minutes, but just not driving downhill enough to draw more fouls since then.
Rams going right to left in their home white uniforms with maroon letters and numbers. Day Reeves, left wing, inside to Whitbourne. Whitbourne contested layup goes on the bullet pass from Day.
That time off the pass, he drew 2 defenders. He had an open Jacobs in the corner. He had an assist to Jacobs last time. This time he says, I'll do it myself, and you love to see the aggression, the physicality going up with it. Whitbourne has struggled finishing through contact, doesn't struggle there.
That pass, left corner, drive baseline, Marshall, ball lost on the ground, multiple bodies from both teams on the ground, and it'll be a held ball called, possession arrow going the other way, and Fordham will get it back.
You can't say this about most teams' best players, but Day Reeves, consistently, a guy who is averaging 20 points per game in conference play, is the first guy on the floor. Every play. He wasn't even on the man who lost the ball there. He was guarding off ball, and he dove in right away. Not afraid to put his body on the line. That's why Fordham stays in games. It's plays like that from Reeves that can engineer a run after a rough stretch.
It was Louis Lesmond subbing out of this one. Akira Jacobs coming back in for the Rams. Christian Henry sitting on the scores table awaiting a return. Marcus Green, top of the arc. Fordham still trailed by 7. Oracor in the right corner. Pass back out to Marcus Green, top of the arc. Looking for off-ball movement. Goes left around a Whitbourne screen. Pass in the left corner. Jacobs, pump fake, drive baseline. Layup goes. Avoiding the defender, wrapping his body around the basket and putting it in. What a play from the Hawaii transfer.
Well, you'll only see it once or twice a game, but when Akira Jacobs attacks a closeout, he's as effective as anyone on this Fordham team. He needs to do it more. Frankly, he's been so good as a slasher. Fordham in a 2-3 zone on defense.
Acker gets it to Johnson. Johnson back to Acker. Acker guarded tenaciously by Day Reeves. Acker splitting defenders. Floater middle of the lane. No good for the undersized sophomore. Playing at home today in New York. Day Reeves. Pass to Akira Jacobs. Jacobs with the ball above his head. But went for the dribble handoff. Miscommunication. Gives it to Day Reeves instead. Day Reeves deep on the left wing. Right around a Whitbourne screen. On the right mid-range. Takes a fadeaway. Gets it to go. Fadeaway mid-ranger goes for Day Reeves. And we've expected nothing less this season than absolute steady play from the metaphorical captain or the literal captain of this Fordham team. Acker on the right wing. 4-point lead. Rams coming back. Pass on the baseline to a cutting Marshall. No good at the rim, but a foul on the second attempt. That one from Dockery. He'll go to the line for 2. Frantic play here, leading to the Fordham Rams getting close, but crazy play regardless, Joe.
Yeah, 6-0 run, last 2:26, and Whitbourne, I thought he got a clean block there. He certainly thought so, too. This is a guy who's not always too happy with the officials, and you understand being a big man, he's a really disciplined defender. He doesn't commit a lot of fouls, so when he is whistled, he's always frustrated about it. I think it's super important for him because he's one of these guys, you can loop in Chris Henry as well, that when things aren't going his way, when he's not getting the whistle, when he's losing the 50-50 battles on the boards, even if he's hustling, when he's unable to finish layups and second chances, he can get a little frustrated. Interesting to see how out of the break he can kind of compartmentalize this and say, okay, tough call, I didn't agree with it, but move on, continue being physical. That's what he's shown so far today. Physicality as a rebounder and as an offensive player. He's had a couple nice buckets so far.
LaSalle still holding on to their lead after a spurt from the Fordham Rams here in the first half. It's a 21-17 LaSalle lead, 7:17 to go in the first half. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hey, what's up? It's Owen Kelty, one of WFUV Sports' New York Knicks beat reporters. Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks look to dominate the East and bring a championship back to New York. Keep up all season long on my X account at Owen Kelty for all the highs and lows of New York Knicks basketball. WFUV Sports is your home for all things Knicks.
Back here in the Bronx at the Rose Hill Gym, the historic and beautiful Rose Hill Gym. 21-17 LaSalle leads, 7:17 to go in this first half. The Fordham Rams trail by 4. We'll get to that in a second. But first, we're going to send it to our sideline reporter, Mary Hannah Gallagher. Take it away, Mary.
Thanks, Chris. Although Fordham students in the crowd are wearing Buckets hats, there aren't very many Buckets to be found for the Rams on the court right now. Efficiency has been the early focus tonight, and it showed immediately when Jacobs knocked down the first 3 of the game from the top of the circle, especially the look that the staff wanted to establish early. And it wasn't long after that when Reeves stepped to the line for the first free throw of the night, continuing what's been a very efficient game stretch for him. He's doing the little things well, but it's time that they connect on the court, bringing it home on defense. Fordham staff have been emphasizing ball connection and recovery. I ran into Magpio in the elliptical earlier this year, locked in on game film, and managers and other coaches have been obsessed about finding what's working and what still needs tightening on the defensive end. Right now, it's about getting up faster in transition, limiting turnovers. They've done a good job there so far, but it's about protecting the middle on drives. You can hear the staff repeating to the players to watch the circle and keep a man on, hopefully, and bring the Rams up. Offensively, the Rams look to stay connected on both ends. Thanks, back to you guys.
Thank you, Mary. That was fantastic. Love a bucket hat pun as well. That was fantastic. Also, Joe, I have to admit, not the first time I've heard about Coach Magpio on the elliptical. I've heard that from some other inside sources.
Time I've heard about Mike Magpio on the elliptical.
I've heard he likes the grind. I heard he likes the public as well. I'm sure there's a private elliptical somewhere, but he wants to be with the people. You got to respect that.
He's a man of the people. Maybe he's recruiting on that elliptical.
As that free throw goes for LaSalle, they get out to a 6-point lead. I have to tell a story because it's so poignant to what we're talking about. I live in New Jersey, more specifically Monmouth County, New Jersey, and if you're not super familiar, that's where Bruce Springsteen is from. He's from the town right next to me, Joe, Freehold, New Jersey, as Jack Whitbourne has it on the left post, backing down his defender, working right. Nice bounce pass under the rim to Akira Jacobs, who misses it under the basket. Jacobs on the second attempt, no good at the rim, but he'll go to the line for 2. 2 shots for Akira Jacobs, who put in a lot of effort there on the offensive end. Back to my story, Joe. Bruce Springsteen lives near me, the town next to me. So, Joe, you would think Bruce Springsteen, type of guy, he can afford a private gym. I mean, if not a private gym, maybe he can buy a gym and make it a private gym, right, Joe? Anyway, Joe, I've heard from, if not one, multiple people in my community around my town in Marlborough, New Jersey, that the Jersey Strong gym, that is, I would say 2 miles from my house, maybe more, maybe less, Bruce Springsteen frequents it around 5 to 7 a.m. multiple times a week and works out in overalls. And I don't think that's necessarily that he likes the Jersey Strong near my house, but I think he likes the community of people near my house and likes to be involved in the community. I think Magpio has maybe a similar philosophy.
Overalls as workout gear?
Yeah.
Okay.
You obviously haven't been to New Jersey. First one good for Akira Jacobs. Second one good for Akira Jacobs. Yeah, overalls. I don't really understand it, but if it works, it works. And as Bruce Springsteen, Coach Magpio, a man of the people here in his first year at the helm of the Fordham Rams. Aker on the right wing. Now at the top of the arc, Johnson passing to Dockery. Dockery, the much bigger. Dockery takes a left wing 3. No good off back iron. Jacobs under the basket. And Fordham gets away on the defensive end once again. A 4-point lead for LaSalle. Fordham trying to eat into it. Christian Henry out of the left wing. Henry drives middle of the lane, stops and tries to turn around. The ball's taken away from him. Dockery has it. Midcourt, loses the ball. Henry trying to take it away. Multiple bodies on the ground once again. And possession called the other way. Possession arrow calling the other way on the held ball to LaSalle.
Second turnover of the day on Chris Henry, probably the first one that's truly his fault. Another one where he's trying to leak out in transition, maybe getting rushed and not thinking about the wolf behind him, the guy trying to poke out the ball from behind him, and they get to him this time. Chaos ensues. Like to see Henry getting on the floor, trying to fight for that one, but a big focus point for a Fordham team that turned it over 18 times against Davidson is just taking care of the ball, especially in the full court.
Johnson driving from the top of the lane to Dockery, right wing. Driving baseline on Aurora Core. Passing the left corner now. Akira Jacobs with tight defense in the corner. A left corner three taken. Air ball. A fight for it under the basket after the fact, and Fordham has it. Christian Henry slowly bringing it up for the Rams. Rams still within 4. Even with how poor they've played in this early stage, they're still very much in this one. 5.5 to go. Christian Henry, fadeaway jumper from the mid-range goes. Fordham needed that one, and now they're within 2. 23-21, 5:20 to go in this first half.
Chris Henry needed that one, Chris. Huge to see that shot go in. He claps to himself. A little bit of frustration, a little bit of relief. He needs to be locked in as a scorer for this team.
And a really aggressive push into the chest of Rika Schulte by Edwin Daniel, and a forced held ball by the Fordham front court. Fantastic job from the big men of the Rams, and possession arrow going toward the Rams. Rams forcing another turnover.
It's that 2-3 zone as the ball gets into the low post. Aurora Core from the left corner coming in as the help defender and just grabbing for that ball and doing so well. He's done it all season long, and forcing the held ball and forcing the turnover. That level of physicality and the hustle plays, 3 held balls so far. I think Fordham's been the initiator on all 3 of them. That's a huge positive for a team that needs to show fight after Davidson.
This Fordham team trying to show fight. 23-21 LaSalle lead. 5.5 to go, or 5 to go in this first half. Rika Schulte, top of the arc, faking left, going right. Gives it to Christian Henry on the right wing. Back to Day Reeves, top of the arc. Kira Jacobs fighting off the ball with Jaden Marshall, the Bosler Community College transfer, and that'll be an off-the-ball foul. Fordham will hold on to it on an inbound.
5th foul of the half from LaSalle, so Fordham eking towards the bonus.
Under 5 minutes to go, 4:50 in the half.
Remember, Fordham had only taken 1 free throw in the first 36 minutes versus Davidson.
Henry, left wing three, off the inbound, no good. Rebound brought down by LaSalle. Dockery pushing the pace quickly to Marshall, left wing, back to Dockery. Dockery driving inside, kick out. A spin by Daniel. Daniel at the right block, puts up a right-handed floater, no good. A soaring Day Reeves gets the rebound. An outlet pass, Louis Lesmond, back to Day Reeves. Day Reeves top of the arc. Guarded by the much bigger Brewer. Day Reeves, step back, mid-range jumper, no good. Off back iron, Dockery there on the rebound. LaSalle will hold on to it and will slow it down. Or they won't. Marshall, quick three, it's good. Thought they were going to slow it down. Instead, Ashton Walker quickly sends an outlet pass into Marshall, and he flips the trigger really, really quickly, Joe.
It's the one guy on this team that probably has a Curry scout. That means guard him at all costs. Do whatever you can to make sure that he does not pull from 3. And look, he's a dynamic player, another 6'5 guard who can slash as well. But his main thing, it's pulling from deep. He's got 20-plus points in both of his last 2 outings. No surprise, no coincidence that in those 2 games, LaSalle won. He's got 12-plus points in 9 of his last 10 games. He's averaging 22 points over his last 3. You could go on and on. A guy off the bench who has to be coming off the bench is their most dynamic shooter, scorer, perhaps their best player, the last guy that you can leave open when you're getting back in transition.
LaSalle keeping Fordham at bay, 26-21 LaSalle lead over the Fordham Rams. 4:07 to go in this first half. We're going to send it back to the Rose Hill Studios once again to check in with Travis Hayden and the one-on-one update. Take it away, Travis.
One scoreboard.
It's been a crazy week when it comes to NFL coaching hires, as teams are now scrambling to fill in their head coaching positions. After 9 seasons and 8 playoff appearances, the Bills have decided to part ways with head coach Sean McDermott after the loss in the divisional round in Denver. But the Bills didn't need to look far for their next man in charge, as they're promoting offensive coordinator Joe Brady to become the new leader of the locker room in Buffalo. The Cleveland Browns moved on from 2-time Coach of the Year Kevin Stefanski after an underwhelming 5-win season, and the Browns are looking toward a division rival as they are bringing in Baltimore offensive coordinator Todd Monken as their new head coach. And finally, with Mike Tomlin stepping down as Pittsburgh Steelers head coach, Pittsburgh has hired their 4th head coach since the 1970s, and that comes with former Super Bowl winning head coach and Pittsburgh native Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy was previously the head coach of the Green Bay Packers and Dallas Cowboys, and has a Super Bowl win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. And now the question is to ask, if he has a win against the Steelers at a Super Bowl, can he win a Super Bowl with them? I'm Travis Hayden, and this was the one-on-one scoreboard update.
Thank you, as always, to Travis Hayden on the one-on-one scoreboard update. A lot of football news, Joe, in the calendar. Obviously, the coaching carousel that we're currently taking part in. Both our teams, both our fandoms, taking each other on in the biggest game of the year. Patriots Seahawks Super Bowl will be there throughout the week. You'll be able to follow it on all the WFUV sports platforms. Will be there at Radio Row throughout the week, Tuesday to Saturday. We absolutely can't wait.
Oh my gosh.
And also can't believe it as well.
I know, we're living large, Chris. I don't think anyone could have predicted this.
It's a real dreamlike scenario. The Fordham Rams want to have a dreamlike scenario to end out this last 4 minutes of the half. They trail by 5, 3:50 to go in the half. Day Reeves on the left wing, goes right around a Schulte screen. Louis Lesmond, right wing three, no good off back iron. He was wide open. A pass to Day Reeves off the offensive rebound. That three goes. Louis Lesmond gets the batted out offensive rebound, passes it quickly to Day Reeves, who capitalizes.
And that's all Akira Jacobs, who's become so good as an offensive rebounder, almost out of nowhere in conference play, creating that tip out into a wide open look.
Rams back within 2. 3:15 to go in the first half. Pass back out, top of the arc, Marshall. Marshall working on the much bigger Jacobs, drives inside, snakes his way through defenders, and can't get a shot to go at the rim. Day Reeves has it the other way. Pass to Lesmond, left corner, back to Reeves. Works it around the world, around the perimeter to Christian Henry, right wing. Back to Day Reeves. He has it top of the arc, right around half court. Gets picked up on a double team to his backcourt partner, Henry. Henry calls for a screen. 8 seconds on the shot clock. 2:40 on the game clock. To Day Reeves, left wing. Left corner to Louis Lesmond. His three gets it to go. A heavily contested three goes for the much struggling Louis Lesmond. And Joe, you said it before, Louis Lesmond really needed that one. And the Fordham Rams now have a lead, 27-26, 2:28 to go in this first half. Working out of the left post. Brewer had it, and he got stripped. Christian Henry picked up the loose ball, passed to Louis Lesmond. His left wing three is good. The Harvard transfer has looked for it all season, and he just may have found it. It's now a 30-26 Fordham lead over LaSalle. 2:16 to go in the first half. Does that guy you pumped up, Joe? 2 straight Louis Lesmond threes.
Let me take you down a trip down memory lane, Chris. A few years ago, U18 World Cup final, France and USA. France loses to USA. Their leading scorer, Victor Wembanyama. Their second leading scorer, Louis Lesmond. We've been looking for that version of Louis ever since he stepped foot on this campus. It's arrived so far tonight after a good game against Davidson. How about a great start against LaSalle? 2 straight threes, I think for the first time all season. And as you said it, Chris, suddenly we have a lead.
Joe, I'm not sure if I even have to check that because I'm sure he hasn't made 2 in a row. He's only made 8 on the season, and he's shot almost 50. Louis Lesmond, known as a 3-and-D guy at Harvard, played in the Ivy League last season, won their Defensive Player of the Year. And simply, Joe, that aspect of his game hasn't been there. We've chalked it up to some sort of mental issue, and it seems that mental issue, Joe, is simply dissipated.
17% shooter from 3, missed his last 16 in a row before that Richmond game a couple weeks ago. 5 for 31 in D1 games, but starting to turn a corner, I think.
Walker, mid-ranger, blocked by Louis Lesmond. Marshall has it on the left wing to Brewer. Right corner pass. Bullet pass into Brewer, who finishes it under the basket. Dockery wide open in the right corner and sent a bullet pass inside to a finishing Brewer. Louis Lesmond blocking that shot in the mid-range. He's doing it all. Christian Henry on the left wing. Lesmond in the left corner. Pass to Day Reeves. Deep on the right wing. Lesmond sprinting baseline. Now has it on the right wing. Lesmond inside to Rika Schulte. Schulte right block. Backing down the much smaller Walker. Pass to Lesmond. Extra pass to Henry. Extra pass to Jacobs. No good on his left corner three. And that's going to be a foul under the basket off the ball on Fordham. It'll be LaSalle ball after the foul. And 1:26 left remaining on the clock after that foul. 30-28, Fordham lead.
And no harm with that foul. No harm, no foul, they say, but I couldn't use that metaphor here because it was a foul from Rika Schulte. But just the fourth personal for Fordham. 7 gets you into the bonus. Only a minute and a half to go. You can afford that. Another solid offensive possession from Fordham. Even though they've only scored 30 points, I've seen some of their best offensive action really all year in this game.
I was about to say, an inspiring offensive stretch for the Fordham Rams. Walker out of the right wing, back top of the key. Johnson. Pass inside, quick pass. Shot under the basket, goes for Dockery, and the foul. The Texas A&M transfer gets a much-needed and one for his Explorers. The Rams on a 9-2 run before that bucket. Dockery gets his LaSalle team back level. 30-30, 1:06 to go in this first half. Dockery 7 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists in this first half, stacking the stat sheet. And completing the three-point play at the line. A full court press for LaSalle. It's Johnson and Marshall guarding from 94 feet. Day Reeves is going to be the one to bring it up. Reeves trying to score on this LaSalle team. Up by 1. Lesmond inside to Bodija. Bodija picked up by a defender. Gets the right-handed skyhook to go. Bodija from the right block gets that one and gets Fordham back in the lead. 32-31.
Good to see Abbas Bodija get involved. You have to win these last 40 seconds here, Chris.
Brewer out to Walker. Walker out to Brewer. Brewer pump fakes, drives inside, takes the contact plus the foul. A questionable continuation, and it doesn't matter. Jerome Brewer Jr., a second and one on 2 straight possessions for LaSalle. LaSalle rocking their alternate uniforms tonight, a black with yellow trim and yellow names and numbers uniform that's absolutely fantastic, with LaSalle over the chest and the Philadelphia skyline right above those LaSalle letters. And those uniforms look pretty fantastic as the LaSalle teams assert their dominance through the N1, Joe.
Yeah, the unis are pretty, but that sequence was not for Jack Whitbourne because now he has 3 personal fouls. Schulte has 2. That cannot become a concern down the stretch in what should be a close game. That is a poor sign of things to come.
2 of the most important guys for the Rams. 3 fouls. A lot for Whitbourne. You only get 5. Day Reeves deep on the right wing, taking direction from his head coach, Coach Mike Magpayo. Now it's Christian Henry slotting into his exact position. 13 on the game clock, 8 on the shot clock. 5 on the shot clock. Henry top of the key. He's going to have to heave. He does. No good from top of the arc from 3. 2 seconds on the clock. Walker from half court. No good. Air ball. And that's how we'll end the half. LaSalle with a 2-point lead after a barrage down the stretch in that first half from the Fordham Rams. Fordham Rams started this one slow, but down the stretch of the first half, Joe, they made up for it.
It was such a huge run, and again, sparked by an unlikely candidate. It's so refreshing to be able to say that because for a long stretch, the only time Fordham would go on a run, it was all Day Reeves. It was first to a loose ball, nabbing a contested board on the defensive end, doing whatever he can on defense and transferring it into offense, where he's been the only consistent scorer from all 3 levels on this Fordham team. But how about Louis Lesmond being that spark late in the first half? We've seen it a few times this conference season. We saw it from Kingston Price and Jamison O'Toole a few games ago. We've seen it from a few different contributors, Abbas Bodija, guys going on runs late in the first half to keep Fordham in contention. It's a little bit sour that Fordham doesn't have a lead here after building up a 4-point advantage thanks to Louis Lesmond. It was a tough final couple minutes, and as I mentioned, those fouls for Schulte and Whitbourne could be a real concern in the second half, but you still have to be pretty happy about how Fordham responded after a really poor showing the first 5 minutes in a game that they were expected to contend well in.
Fordham going 3 for their last 4 from the 3-point line to end that half. It was 2 Louis Lesmond threes that were the biggest energizer for this Fordham team down the stretch of that first half. And as Joe said, even without a lead, still a lot to be optimistic about. Day Reeves leading the Fordham Rams with 9 points. And on the other side, for the Explorers, it's Brewer, Jerome Brewer Jr., leading them with 12 points on 5 of 7 from the field. Impressive stuff from both sides, especially from Fordham down the stretch. We'll see if Fordham can continue that in the second half. A 34-32 lead for the LaSalle Explorers over the hosting Fordham Rams going into the locker room after a first half. We'll be back for second half action, but first we're going to send it back to the Rose Hill Studios for another one-on-one halftime report from, of course, who we've heard from, Travis Hayden, and host Izzy Randazzo. Take it away, guys.
One-on-one halftime report.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rose Hill Studios for our halftime report for today's men's basketball game. I'm your studio host, Izzy Randazzo, joined by my co-host, Travis Hayden. At the half, LaSalle leads 34-32, but despite the deficit, the Rams are looking great out there. What do you think, Travis?
Yeah, this is honestly not something we wanted to see today. We wanted the Rams coming in for a bigger win. Mm-hmm. We did have 5.5 point favorites coming into the game, according to the almighty odds makers. And so far, it's just not going that way. That you would see. The stats right now, they're so close. Mm-hmm. Like, Fordham hasn't taken as many shots as LaSalle, and they've made one less than that. That explains, like, the 2 points. Mm-hmm. But they're getting slightly outboarded right now. They're not losing in the numbers game in, like, big ways. The only thing that's being possession is the possession of the lead, and time with the lead is what LaSalle's really been running away with right now.
Mm-hmm. I agree completely. Yeah, a little bit of background before we kind of dive into these stats, because we do have a lot to talk about. This is the 68th meeting between Fordham and LaSalle on the hardwood. Fordham has entered this game with a 10-10 record, which is obviously, not what we would like to see from our Rams. They're 1-6 in the A-10, and they're coming off of a 68-63 loss in the A-10 conference at Davidson last Wednesday night. Kind of going into this game, the Rams really need to focus on their energy. And Mike Magpio, head coach Mike Magpio, has emphasized this exact facet of the game all season long, really just building up the energy, keeping a positive attitude and a locked-in attitude going into the game, throughout the game, and down the stretch throughout, towards the end of the game. This game is looking energetic so far. We're seeing Rora Kaur is back. We like to see him play. Our freshman, we like him. Rika Schulte is having a bigger, maybe perhaps more aggressive attitude this game, which is great because he is, a very, very fearful, or he's a intimidating rebounder on the court.
Yeah, he's still keeping up the rebound leaders. He's at he's at 4 for the day.
Yes.
But usually when you see him, he'll have like 5 offensive rebounds sometimes. The offense when the offensive rebounds are totaled towards Fordham most of the time, you could tell that's when it's going to be Rika Schulte's moment and when he's going off.
100%, I agree. Rika's second in the A-10 in rebounding, and he is 23rd in the NCAA in rebounding, which is impressive.
Wow, and the whole NCAA.
And the whole NCAA, and the whole
1, 2, and 3. Or just 1.
Let me see. Hold on. Wait. He's 10th in offensive rebounding. In the NCAA,
wow,
which is insane. What else are we seeing from these Rams?
We just need to see. Honestly, you have to just go into this halftime like it is down. But what you said is you have to keep the energy there.
Exactly.
Like, this is a close game. If Magpio can, what you've been saying and you've been hearing is energy. Think about this. You're 10-10 right now.
Yes.
You dropped this game. That's 10-11. The season we're mostly behind is mostly behind us. The energy right now should be get out of LaSalle with a win, and let's keep winning throughout the rest of the year. Let's keep a winning energy. Like, even if we lose a couple games we're supposed to lose, let's keep a winning energy. We haven't hit a losing energy yet, and I feel like something that could very much be badly happening tonight is if this game they don't come out with the right energy in the second half. They let LaSalle slip away, and it's like one of those 13-point leads. We're fouling with 1 minute left to cut it down, and just to give us a chance when it's not going to happen. And now look at that. That's a losing record.
Yes, definitely don't want that.
No.
We have seen more losses than we would like to see. Obviously, kind of going into this game with a 10-10 record, that's not ideal. But this game, from a stat perspective, is looking better than their season average. They're averaging On the season, 29% from three. In this game, they're 30.8, which is obviously not that big of a jump, but it's an improvement. You know, we like to see little improvements whenever we can, which is what we're seeing
and
here.
a lot of the like when we cover these games, what I see is they don't take as many 3-point shots. They're mostly in the paint, and then they also don't go to the line as much either. They've been to the line 4 times already tonight.
Okay.
They've been just as much as LaSalle has been to the line.
Yes.
And so you got to think something is a little bit different. We can't keep doing the same thing if we want to keep winning.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's winning and losing energy.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you win this game, it is a winning energy, Izzy. You have everybody's happy. Rose Hill is going crazy.
Insane.
Applause all around. We're up. It's an A10 win. It is technically a winning record, 11-10.
Yeah.
But then you lose tonight, and it's
that morale
we have a
kinda
losing
goes
record.
down.
We still have more A10 games to play.
Mm-hmm.
It's what's left in the year.
Mm-hmm.
The energy could eventually be evaporated tonight. And for the second half, you got to start thinking: are they playing for the are they playing for the energy for the rest of the season?
We gotta hope so, honestly. I honestly hope during this halftime, Magpio really instills in them that the attitude and the energy is the focal point of their game. Obviously, the aspects of the game, their skill is, the biggest part of the game, but the underlying kind of under the surface thing that they really need to focus on is this energy, because you cannot win games without this high energy, and they've made that evident as this season has gone.
Yeah, you need high energy to produce. I mean, if you're coming in and you're just sluggish and you don't want to do it, and you keep thinking, why are we playing this game? Like, we haven't really won in the A10 this year.
Yeah.
You're not going to win in the A10.
Mm-hmm.
But if you come in thinking, hey, 0-0 halftime. Like if I'm Fordham, like first 5 minutes were not going so well for us.
Definitely not.
But we turned it around. It is technically a 2-point game, but if I'm Fordham and I'm Magpio, I'm like, hey, this is not a 34-32 game. This is a 2-0 game.
Mm-hmm.
Forget everything
Wow.
that happened right before. 2-0 game.
That was philosophical. That's a great way to look at that. That is true, because
those first 5 minutes didn't happen.
They really didn't. They have the props, they have the skill, they have the tools to make this game theirs.
Look at Duquesne last week. I mean, Duquesne, they were down by 14, 15, and then they were down by 3 going into half. And then, granted, that game got, as the energy depleted, as the game kind of more went away.
Yes.
You just have to make those adjustments to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Yes.
0-2 game. They have a magical 2 on the scoreboard. There's 20 minutes in this game. The other 20 minutes don't matter.
I agree completely. I feel like,
at this point, this is the season. It's crazy to think we're saying this about a LaSalle game, but it is the season on the line.
It's a very important game. You wouldn't think that going into it, but it definitely is going to be a monumental second half that they really need to dial in, and they really need to make this game theirs, because, like I said, they have the skill. They've shown that they have the skill, but it's just kind of putting all these puzzle pieces together, making sure their energy's high coming out of that locker room, and putting things together and hopefully securing a win.
Yeah, because it's going to be tough seeing the energy if there is a loss today.
Yes.
And especially going into the schedule coming up is like you have George Washington, VCU. We have Rhode Island twice, Loyola, Illinois. Like these teams, like the energy going into these games, you don't want it to be, there's a Fordham basketball game. There's a Fordham basketball
Let's
game.
get hyped. Let's get excited
hyped.
for our Rams.
Our Rams are showing out. They keep it close, a lot of the times. And again, a win tonight is a winning record.
I agree.
And as long as you can keep that winning record, you're maintaining winning energy.
Yes.
You're maintaining winning vibes. You're playing winning basketball. But again, it can all change in 20 minutes.
It could. That's the beauty of basketball. Like, everything is so volatile and so fast-paced.
It can really all change within 20 minutes.
It could.
Like, Fordham could go up by 40 somehow. Or LaSalle could go up by like 20, and it could be like, oh. But again, 0-2 game right now for Fordham.
Yes.
The entire season. I can't even think that it's close to the end. It feels like the semester just started.
I know. It definitely, it's gone by really fast. We've had a blast doing it. But that is going to do it for our halftime report. We will be crossing our fingers and watching attentively to this next half. I'm Izzy Randazzo, your studio host, joined by my co-host Travis Hayden. We're going to send it back to the Rose Hill Gym with Chris Carino and Joe Henry.
Hey Devils fans, Tucker Austin here from WFUV Sports, one of your New Jersey Devils beat reporters for the 2025-26 season. From Hughes Brothers Havoc to Heischer hat tricks and Markstrom masterclasses, I'll have you covered live from the Prudential Center for all things Jersey hockey. Follow me on X at @TAustin_24, where I'll have live game updates, analysis, and post-game coverage all season long as the Black and Red look to bring Lord Stanley back to the Rock. WFUV Sports is your home for everything New Jersey Devils.
Hello, everybody. I'm Chris Carino.
And I'm Joe Henry.
Tune in weekly for NFL Friday, your exclusive WFUV sports podcast for all things National Football League.
We'll be covering everything on and off the gridiron for the biggest sports league in the world. Every week on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcast.
Can the Eagles repeat?
Will the Jets or Giants finally take a leap?
What's Shadur up to?
All of that and more on NFL Friday on WFUV Sports.
Chris Carino, joined by Joe Henry here at the Rose Hill Gym. What's Shadur up to? Going to the Pro Bowl. That's what Shadur is up to. That might have been the thing that aged the best in that promo as the season went along.
They might as well put me in the promo, Chris.
Chris Carino, joined by Joe Henry. A 34-32 LaSalle lead over the Fordham Rams going into halftime. We'll have a discussion on that one and second half action in a moment. But first, we're going to send it to our sideline reporter once again, Mary Hannah Gallagher. Take it away, Mary.
Thank you, Chris. Defensively, Fordham's game plan tonight has been heavy on preventing the three, and you can feel that and how the commitment is starting to pay off from the Fordham Rams today. Earlier, the court went electric when Lesman knocked down that shot to give Fordham a short glimmer of the lead. Although he wasn't in tonight's starting five, he's been a huge player off the bench, 6 points here in the first half, and you could see that this bench erupted as that hard work translated to the scoreboard. This half is going to be a dedication to outscoring, but most of all, preventing LaSalle from getting to their basket. Looking ahead to the second half, the message is pretty clear. Get on your man and continue taking away the three-point line. That's been priority number one. At the same time, the staff knows that there's a balance to strike. They've tended to give up too much in the middle, so finding that happy medium between protecting the perimeter and closing down the lane will be key as this one continues. Maybe now that the students have some merch to rep of their own, after this half, the energy will be only going up for the Rams. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Mary. MHG killing the sideline game per usual. Fantastic stuff there. That's sort of what we got over here, Joe, on the other side across from the Fordham bench. We were electrified by that Louis Lesmond stretch and how good he was in comparison to how he's been so far this season.
It was fantastic to see not just Louis getting hyped for himself, and then afterwards we saw him moving with so much confidence, even off the ball. He just was moving with this conviction that we had not seen all year. But how about the coaching staff and all of his players running out to him to congratulate him, to show their support? It speaks to the brotherhood that this team has built.
And if you were tuned in at the beginning of this, when I gave an incorrect starting lineup, it was Edwin Daniel in the starting lineup. I actually said it was Josiah Harris. That starting lineup I gave in the beginning of the game, that's the five LaSalle starts with in the second half. Josiah Harris slotted in to the starting lineup of the second half. He picks up an offensive rebound and loses it quickly. Christian Henry picks it up, and Fordham will have it off the LaSalle offensive possession. So Josiah Harris started it off unlike the first half for the second half for LaSalle. LaSalle on the defensive. Christian Henry out of the left wing for the Rams. Rams going left to right. Bodija receives it on a beautiful bounce pass from Rika Schulte. Couldn't finish at the rim, but he was fouled on his way to the rim, and he'll go to the line for 2. Fordham 4 for 4 so far at the line tonight.
I think it speaks to the strengths of this team that on the first possession of each half, a play was drawn up to get some high-low action going with the two bigs. And Bodija starting the second half, by the way, with Whitbourne dealing with the foul trouble, but getting the ball up in the high post to Schulte, where he's a ready and willing passer, and then Bodija wrestling for positioning on the inside. He just hit his first free throw, and making so that his defender is on the back of him, and Bodija's the closest man to the basket in the baseline, so that when Schulte slips in that bounce pass from the high post, there's no one in front of him, and you have to foul from behind or let him score.
Abbas Bodija good on 2 for 2 from the line. A perfect trip to the charity stripe, and Fordham back level, 34-34, 19-19 to go in this second half. Johnson has it top of the arc. Plays it to the left wing, pass back up top of the arc. Truth Harris. Harris back top of the key to Johnson, back to Harris, back to Johnson. Playing a game of hot potato. Bounce pass under the basket to a cutting Dockery, and it was taken away by Abbas Bodija. Abbas on both ends being effective. His success massive for Fordham going forward. Akira Jacobs, right wing. Cross-court pass, left corner to Dede Reeves. Dede Reeves driving inside, kicking it out to Christian Henry. Henry, extra pass. Akira Jacobs, right corner, 3 is good. Akira Jacobs gets that 3 to go, and a 3-point lead for the Rams. 37-34, 18.5 to go in this second half.
5-0 run to start the half. Akira Jacobs, been your best shooter all A-10 play. Let that thing fly, young man.
And that floater with the right hand is good from Josiah Harris. The Radford transfer followed his head coach, Darius Nichols, who's also in his first year at LaSalle as the head coach. Fran Dunphy retiring last season at the helm of LaSalle, and Nichols taking over. Christian Henry, lob pass inside to Bodija, pump fake and a bucket. Abbas Bodija clinical inside, and the Fordham Rams love that, and a 3-point lead.
It's good to see Bodija continue to be aggressive, but it's great to see Chris Henry making a play offensively, getting an assist, something he hasn't done as much of lately.
Truth Harris to Johnson, no good from the right elbow, and that rebound fought for by both teams. Johnson eventually has it, and it's a second chance for the LaSalle offense. Explorers setting up at the top of the arc. Harris inside at the free throw line, no good on the Brewer floater, but he'll get fouled and he'll go to the line for 2. 2 or 3 steps inside the free throw line. Brewer no good off the left side of the rim, but he's fouled, and he'll go to the line.
And Fordham's been so dominant on the offensive glass all year. It's so bizarre to see them get pretty much doubled up in that category against Davidson, and now getting doubled up by LaSalle, 8-4. It's a good offensive rebounding team in LaSalle, but Fordham is even better, and it's discerning, or it's a bad thing to see that LaSalle has had so much consistent success in the offensive glass.
Yeah. That's a word I could see myself getting caught on as well. It's disconcerting from I was making a point. It was disconcerting from a ball handling level for Fordham as well. It doesn't seem the Fordham Rams are comfortable in the backcourt offensively. Second free throw, no good. Rika Schulte diving on the ground for the rebound and falling on the ground in that action. He traveled. It'll be a turnover, and LaSalle will have it. It'll be LaSalle taking it out under the basket on the right side of the baseline. Inbounded. Marshall had it ripped out of his hands by Dede Reeves. It'll stay on this side with LaSalle. A bit of a conversation between the two officials, and eventually it'll stay with LaSalle.
And Dede Reeves puts the people who wipe the floor in the timeouts to work. It's first to the floor every single play. Again, as the team's best player, it's such a program changer and a culture changer that he's that guy.
And a pass inside. Josiah Harris under the basket trying to work to get some sort of shot attempt, and he stepped out of bounds. The official on the baseline calling that out of bounds. It'll be Fordham ball. Christian Henry inbounding it to a full court press from the Explorers. Schulte picking it up on the inbound, giving it right back to Christian Henry. Henry, the best inbounder and ball handler for this Fordham team. Abbas has it top of the key. Dribble handoff, fake to Dede Reeves, then gives it to Christian Henry. Henry has it, left wing, Pass to Schulte. Rolling Schulte. Pass in the right corner. Jacobs' three is good. Akira Jacobs with another three. And the Hawaii transfer has Fordham out to their biggest lead of the evening. It's 5, 42-37, 16:50 to go in this second half. Fordham feeling the life. Walker, left wing three, no good. Trying to simmer the Fordham attack. Walker gets it on the offensive rebound. Left corner three, it's good. Jerome Brewer Jr. led his team in the first half and continues to do so in the second half.
It's been like that all conference play. You hit a three and then they get one right back on you. Even if you play good defense, it's just felt like it's been that way for this Fordham team. They have to overcome what feels like fate working against them sometimes.
Fordham up 2, 16-15 on the second half clock. Henry working out of the deep top of the key. Left to right crossover, drives inside, right-handed layup, no good off glass, and LaSalle has it on the defensive glass. Marshall stops at the right wing, pass in the right corner to Walker. Walker gives it to Harris, free throw line, drives right side of the lane, no good at the rim, but he gets the second chance, and he goes up, doesn't get the shot on the second chance, but he's fouled. His bench pumped up after he forced or drew that foul on the second chance.
Kira Jacobs says, that's on me. It's hard for him to have to admit that because he played straight up, chest-to-chest defense so well in that possession, forced that first miss on his own. He really shouldn't be expected to be the guy who also pulls down the defensive rebound. Of course, you're responsible for the shooter if you're the on-ball defender, but frankly, that's just a great play from Josiah Harris to get his own miss and create another opportunity.
LaSalle now leading the Fordham Rams 10-4 on the offensive glass. LaSalle trailing the Fordham Rams on the scoreboard 42-40, 15:56 to go in the second half. We'll take a little break. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hi, I'm Mary Hawthorne, one of your hosts on WFUV's tennis podcast, Cross the Line. From breakdowns of majors to courtside U.S. Open coverage, we've got you covered on all things tennis from the ATP and WTA. Tune in to weekly episodes of Cross the Line on YouTube and featured segments on One-on-One. Cross the Line, WFUV's home court for tennis.
Chris Carino with the pleasure of course, being joined by my partner, Joe Henry. 15:56 left to go on the second half clock. It's a 42-40 Fordham lead. Joe Henry, a lead that Fordham has fought for toughly and that LaSalle is not giving up without a fight.
And what's a little bit concerning is that maybe in the last 7 3-point attempts from Fordham, they've hit 4 of them, and now they're up to 40% shooting from 3 as a unit. They shot over 40% last game, but I think history would tell you maybe that's an unsustainable figure. So as Fordham continues to find it from deep, 2 of 2 in the second half, to stay in this game and even to take a lead in this game, both of the times they took leads, it was when they had a barrage of threes falling for them. How are you going to find a way offensively when the threes stop falling? And how are you going to pull out a win in yet another close A-10 game? I mentioned the stat when we talked to Coach Mike Magpaio. Fordham's been in close games almost every single game in A-10 play, but they're 1-4 in them. 1-4 in contests decided by single digits. LaSalle 3-1, including that win over Dayton. Again, a huge win for this program. They're coming off a hard stretch. Fordham has had a lot of trouble in conference play closing out games. They need to find a way to buck that trend in these next 16 minutes.
And Joe, it's been a defensive effort from the Rams. Obviously, just looking at the team stat sheet, 3 blocks to 0 in the steal category, 5 steals to 2 for the Rams. And you're looking at that field goal percentage for LaSalle. They're shooting from the field 40%, which is low, 15 for 37, and from 3, 4 for 13. That Fordham defense has given the Rams something to lie on, something to be comfortable with as they may struggle through spurts offensively.
Yeah, but they're getting too many chances. 10 offensive rebounds, 12 points off of them. Not uber efficient on the second chances, but pretty efficient. And they're shooting worse than Fordham. Cool, 40.5% versus 48.4%. But they've taken 6 more shots. That's how a team stays in the game. That's how Fordham has stayed in games all season long, being the less efficient shooting team, as they so often have been. they've just gotten more opportunities. For some reason, the script has flipped in the past 2 contests.
Josiah Smith, good on his first free throw and good on the second. He has 6 points and 5 rebounds so far tonight. He'll be inbounded in the backcourt by Fordham. A full court press once again from LaSalle. Fordham shooting 50% from the field in their loss last time out against Davidson. That's not going to happen very often, Joe.
No.
Christian Henry at the top of the key in the middle of the Fordham script logo. Trying to look to his left. Now working on the much bigger defender in Brewer. Gives it to Jacobs. Jacobs, bullet pass under the basket to Schulte, who finishes it. Beautiful vision from the very tall, very big Akira Jacobs.
Can't say enough about the game that Jacobs is having. 13 points, leads all scorers on Fordham. 4 of 6 shooting, 3 of 4 from 3. And he's doing it all. Getting boards. How about that assist? A great find. One of his best passes of the season.
Marshall gets it to Walker, who misses on the right elbow, and Christian Henry there corralling the defensive rebound. Fordham moving the other way. Christian Henry still trying to move, going coast to coast, and he's fouled on the floor. Rob Dockery trying to stop the ball and instead stopping the play entirely.
Just the second foul that Fordham has forced in the first 5 minutes, but it's great to see Chris Henry pushing the ball up the floor. The other 4 leaked out in transition, so even though Henry was the trailer off of his own board, to see him getting out and running, getting positioning, and then drawing that foul, it's something he does really well.
Henry going right around a Schulte screen, picked up by a double team, had to let it go. Now Marcus Green has it, top of the arc, drifting over to the left wing, also double teamed. 13 seconds on the shot clock. Henry telling his offense to calm down. Akira Jacobs, left wing. Another bullet pass inside. That one not as accurate, goes out of bounds on the baseline. It'll be a turnover for the Rams. Rams still up 2, 44-42, 14:46 to go in the second half.
They're just trying to force a paint touch there and get the ball inside late in the shot clock, knowing that that's your better statistical chance if you're Fordham.
Right elbow jumper, it's good. Jerome Brewer Jr. gets that one to go, and LaSalle, who is cold offensively, is taking all the buckets they can get. Christian Henry, guarded by Dockery, now Brewer. Now picked up on a double team. Gives it to Roricourt. Takes a 3. No good from the right wing. The quick catch and fire doesn't go for the true freshman, and LaSalle's moving quickly. They're running. Walker tried to kick it out and gets fouled on the action. He'll be on the floor on Christian Henry, and arguing Christian Henry, I have to add. And that'll stay on the floor with LaSalle. They'll inbound it on the left side of the baseline. It's Walker.
Fordham really struggled in baseline out-of-bounds situations, both defensively and offensively. They have one here. There's going to be a lot of them late in the game. You have fouls off the ball, non-shooting fouls. You'll see a lot of baseline inbounds. Fordham needs to win that department.
Walker trying to inbound it, having some trouble. Eventually gets it into Daniel. Daniel working out of the left post, backing down Whitbourne. Whitbourne has 3 fouls, into a cutting Walker. Walker no good on his layup, and it's going to be under the basket, called the other way, a foul on LaSalle. I believe that one is going to go on number 24, Jerome Brewer Jr., and Fordham will have it. Another full court press from the Rams. It'll be Christian Henry bringing it up as he inbounds it, as he usually does. Henry, guarded by Walker. In their white home uniforms with maroon letters and numbers. Pick and pop 3, no good for Whitbourne out of the left wing. That one was surprising, and LaSalle moving the other way quickly. Nice dribble move by Dockery. Driving inside, and a foul called. I believe that one's going to be on Roricourt. Yeah, it's going to be a push on Roricourt on the cutting Dockery, the driving Dockery. That's going to be free throws for Dockery. Still 44, 13:43 to go in this second half.
It looked like Eric Acker just walked towards the locker room, towards the end of the bench for LaSalle, but has played in this game. That's something to monitor.
First free throw good for Dockery.
On that play with the core, it's just LaSalle pushing it in transition recently has given Fordham trouble because they can't set their defense and address the on-ball defender before that, address the ball handler before that ball handler starts to get downhill. So Akor's not able to get set on his man before he starts to drive. So it forces him into an illegal guarding position. Now on that play, Dockery kind of hooked him. So I thought maybe they were going to get him for an offensive foul, but still Akor not in great position. Not really his fault. Again, LaSalle just moving quickly and taking advantage of that to get back in the lead here.
Dockery making both at the line. Hasn't been efficient from the field so far tonight. 2 for 8, 0 for 3 from 3, but is 6 of 6 from the free throw line. LaSalle with a 2-point lead, 46-44. 13:38 to go in the second half. Schulte has it at the top of the arc. Looking for a pass, finds Day Reeves. Left corner, drives and stops. Back out. Rika Schulte has it. Back to Day Reeves. Day Reeves, top of the arc. Pass to Roricourt. Roricourt driving. Mid-range jumper. It's good. A few steps to the right of the right elbow, and Roricourt gets that 2 to go. Tie game once again. Pump fake and drive from Marshall. No good on the shot attempt. He tried to draw a foul on, and Fordham's moving the other way. Day Reeves going left around Nabas Bodija screen. Kick out. Marcus Green. Green to Schulte. Right wing. Takes a 3, and it's a foul on the floor before the shot attempt. It's going to be a Bas Bodija and Ashton Walker tied up. The foul will go on Walker, and it'll stay on this side with the Rams.
It's funny because Rika Schulte was not thinking about an entry pass to a Bas Bodija there, but the much smaller Ashton Walker certainly was and was trying to jockey for position, commits the foul. Rika Schulte has become a much more willing three-point shooter, hasn't done it so well. Jack Whitbourne comes back in the game for him. Something to monitor here. 3 personal fouls for Whitbourne.
Yeah, Whitbourne still 3 fouls. Has played with it since the first half. Didn't start the second half. First time he started a first half. Hasn't started a second half all season. And is now being trusted by his coach not to pick up his 4th foul. Just under 13 minutes to go in the second half. It's passed into Whitbourne. Dribble handoff to Reeves. Up top, Marcus Green 3. It's good! From 3 to 4 steps behind the line on the Fordham script logo, Marcus Green gets that 3 to go. Marcus Green gets Fordham back out to a 3-point lead. 49-46, 12:40 to go in the second half. What a shot, Joe. Johnson, top of the arc. Trying to recalibrate this LaSalle offense. Pass on the left wing. Truth, top of the arc. Johnson 3, no good. Roricourt grabbing that one with every part of his frame that he's got, and he's fouled on the floor after the rebound. Good play from the true freshman. Gritty play from the true freshman.
Really no better way to describe that play than to say that he launched his entire body into that ball. No hope for a defender to try and clasp down on that rebound. Roricourt just threw every inch of his 6'9" frame onto that ball, draws a foul in the process.
It's going to be a full court press once again. LaSalle has to be getting exasperated a little bit by this full court press. You like that word as well?
Exasperated. You're on a roll, Chris.
My roommate's been reading a lot recently.
Okay.
Day Reeves in the left corner. Marcus Green. Pass back up to the top. Day Reeves. Day Reeves back in the corner to Marcus Green. Marcus Green quickly working it in the left post to Jack Whitbourne. Whitbourne backing down his defender, trying to get past Daniel, spins left, puts up a shot, and it's blocked by Daniel. It'll stay Fordham ball under the basket.
With 3 seconds on the shot clock, too.
Yeah.
Great defense there from Daniel. You like to see Whitbourne. He tries to go middle. You always want to try and go middle first. It's sealed off. Spins towards the baseline. Great move, just better defense from Daniel. This Fordham offense, I think for an extended time now, more than just the second half, but the last maybe 6 to 8 minutes of the first half as well, has been a legitimately good offense, something we haven't been able to see or say for an extended stretch all year.
Fordham with only a few seconds to work with coming out of the timeout. A 49-46 Fordham lead, 11:56 to go in this second half, and a late media timeout as well, Joe. We're going to send it back to the Rose Hill Studios for another scoreboard update with Travis Hayden. Take it away, Travis.
Scoreboard.
This Saturday, UFC 325 will be airing live from Sydney, Australia. And kicking off the card, we are starting off with a bang, as fan favorite Aussie heavyweight Tai Tuivasa is making his return after almost 2 years to fight Talshin Teixeira. And we have not one, but 2 huge fights in the lightweight division, as Rafael Fiziev is looking to get into title contention as he takes on one of the Brazil's fighting nerds, a star Mauricio Ruffy. And Australia's own Dan the Hangman Hooker looks to defend his spot in the rankings against former French Special Forces officer Benoit Saint-Denis in the co-main event. And in the main event, the King of Australia and the greatest featherweight champion of all time, Alexander the Great Volkanovski, returns to fight in front of his home crowd for the first time in 3 years as he rematches Diego Lopes for the UFC Featherweight Championship. I'm Travis Hayden. This has been the one-on-one scoreboard update, and I'm going to be sending it back to Joe and Chris.
In the eye of the storm, a.k.a. the T-shirt toss, 11:56 to go in the second half, 49-46. A hard-fought Fordham lead over this last passage of time. Chris Carino joined by Joe Henry. Joe Henry, a lot of good things to take away from this recent stretch of Fordham play. The hustle, one of the things that's peering out the most.
I mean, the hustle, Fordham, I said it earlier, putting the mop boys to work. You're going to have to wipe the floor when a Fordham game's over because they are diving on the floor at will. It says a lot about a team that's coming off of two of its most grueling losses of the year. To come out in this one and to just have fought as hard as they have. And really, they've fought in every game this season except maybe that Duquesne game a week and a half ago. But to see this level of hustle, as you said, Chris, it says a lot. Not even mentioning the scoreboard in which Fordham has a lead as a chance to finally get that second win of A-10 play would be win number 100 for Mike Magpie.
Fordham trying to inbound it under their own basket. Day Reeves on the left side of the baseline gets it in. Day Reeves quickly having to try to work, and he didn't get the shot off in time. Well, we talked about it, Joe. Going back to what you were just saying, Coach Mike Magpie had the team playing a lot this week in practice. A lot of scrimmages. Obviously, the team just worked with the bye week, so they had some time, but a productive week of practice for a Fordham team trying to get back on track.
And Fordham had that 6.5-minute scoreless stretch against Davidson. Magpie would point it out when the team started to stagnate on offense. Huge that they don't do that here because this is the time where they did that against Davidson.
Dockery somehow working his way under the basket, snaking his way under the basket, and getting that one to go. Fordham was on a 5-0 run before that, and now, just like that, they're only within one. 49-48 Fordham lead, 11.5 to go in the second half. Fordham won for their last 4 field goals. Reeves works it to Marcus Green, quickly works it to Bodija in the left corner. Bodija looking for a pass, finds Green. To Reeves, deep right wing. Reeves looking for a screen, drifts his way all the way to the left wing, drives inside, puts up a layup, no good, and it's going to be blocked on the baseline, out of bounds, and blocked by Edwin Daniel. That ball going to stay with the Rams on this side. 4 seconds on the shot clock, a short shot clock, Joe, once again for the Rams to work with.
Yeah, we'll see if they have any more success this time. Louis Lesmond coming into the game, a guy who banged 2 threes in the first half. Maybe they draw up a play for him out of the baseline, out of bounds.
Henry on the right baseline, inbounding it once again under the Fordham basket. Beautiful play drawn up. Louis Lesmond wide open under the basket, and he finishes it off. Coach Mike Magpie and crew getting that one to go.
Set a little screen up top for Reeves, let him curl across, draws the defenders, then slip down to the low post, take the inbound and score.
Dockery Euro stepping and not getting the shot to go under the basket. It'll be LaSalle holding on to possession when the ball goes out of bounds on the baseline. 3-point lead for the Rams, 51-48, 10:43 to go in this second half. LaSalle will have it. They'll inbound it on the right side of the baseline. It'll be Jaden Johnson, the Old Dominion transfer. Johnson working out of the right wing, gets it right back off the inbound, going right around a screen, a Daniel screen. Now in the mid-range, pass to a cutting Daniel. He's blocked! The true freshman, Roar Kaur, sends that one to about the 5th row of the student section. My goodness. All parts of that long, and I mean long, 6'8" frame from Australia sent that one back. Dockery faking right, going left. Mid-range jumper, no good. Second chance rebound brought down by Brewer. LaSalle working again. That mid-ranger, no good from Marshall. It drew arms in the air from his teammates. People were upset. Louis Lesmond out of the left wing. Fordham working with a 3-point lead. 10 minutes to go in the second half. Schulte, dribble handoff. Day Reeves, right wing. Pump fakes. Working in the mid-range now. Right corner. Picks up his dribble. Pass. Louis Lesmond, deep right wing. One more pass. Christian Henry. Another pass. Roar Kaur, left corner 3. No good. Louis Lesmond fights for it, gets to it, passes to Rika Schulte under the basket, who finishes. Fordham continuing to fight. LaSalle trying to work quickly the other end. It's Marshall double-teamed and fouled on the right wing. Fordham Rams fighting hard. It's hard to keep up with. can't even imagine the team they're playing with, Joe.
Chris, another positive offensive play spurred by Louis Lesmond. He might not get credit for anything in the box score if an assist, but to somehow get that one-armed, left-handed rebound over a bigger defender and to shovel it out to Schulte to finish the job. It's huge from Lesmond.
Kicked out, now passed inside. Josiah Harris, right-handed floater, no good in the smack dab middle of the lane, and the ball falls in the hands of Day Reeves and the Rams. Fordham working offensively. They want a bucket. They want it bad. 9:15 to go in the second half. 5-point lead for the Rams. Left to right crossover. Drived inside. Kicked out. Left corner three for Reeves. No good. Reeves off the right side of the rim. LaSalle brings it down. They're running the other way. Johnson. Pass on the right wing. Intercepted by Day Reeves. Reeves taking on contact. Doesn't get that one to finish. Henry there on the second chance, and he gets it to score. Backcourt partner covering for backcourt partner, and the Rams out to their biggest lead of the evening, 55-48, 8:51 to go in the second half. Joe, what I would say 6 to 7 minutes for the Fordham Rams.
Can't say enough about this backcourt and when they're hustling, what it means for this team. Because you might look at the box score and see Day Reeves, 9 points, hasn't scored since the 7-minute mark in the first half, 3 for 10 shooting, is having a bad game. No, in that span of scorelessness, yes, he's missed some shots, but he's got 4 assists. He's got a couple competitive rebounds. He's up to 3 steals. That latest one created a surefire make. He missed on the layup, but who's there to help him? Chris Henry, who's been through so much. The concussion, the wrist injury before the season, who struggled so much to get back to form, who's not even having a great game today. 4 points, 2 of 8 shooting, but who has found ways to get involved. More contested boards, he's got 4. 5 assists, first time doing that in I think 3 games. And on that play, coming in out of nowhere to save the day and to ensure that Fordham finishes on plays that they should. This backcourt, even if the box score doesn't show it, has done everything to will Fordham to the lead it has today.
Seeing Christian Henry's maturity increase throughout this season, one of the treats of watching this season so far. The Fordham Rams in full control. They're on a 6-0 run in the last 2:45, an 11-2 run in the last 4:52, and LaSalle won for their last 8 field goals. So, Joe, seemingly on paper, 2 teams trending in the wrong directions. Or trending in opposite directions,
But again, you never know, because really both of these teams, I mean, especially Fordham, we talked about the 6.5-minute scoreless stretch, but both of these teams have been suspect to poor stretches offensively and to big runs, especially LaSalle. We saw it against Dayton. They were up 30-8. That's a tournament team. They may have ended that team's tournament hopes by the start that they had. You never know what might happen, and man, Fordham has struggled at this exact point in games. They won the last 4 minutes. That's crucial. That's something they haven't done often. But these next 8:51, it's certainly not a sure thing that Fordham pulls this out. This is a huge, pivotal stretch out of the break.
As you mentioned it before, Akira Jacobs leading the Fordham Rams. He has 13 points, 3 of 4 from the three-point line, 2 of 2 from the line. The Fordham Rams, who have had trouble all season long getting to the free throw line and making those free throws, they haven't taken many with 6, but they've made all of them, Joe. 6 for 6 at the line. This Fordham team not leaving anything undone, not leaving any I's not dotted, any T's not crossed. This Fordham team not sort of hurting themselves down the stretch, which is one of the most important aspects of their success.
And more often than not, good teams get to the line and make their shots. In most games, Fordham has done neither. Look, they haven't got to the line a lot yet, but they have drawn 5 personal fouls from LaSalle in this half. LaSalle has drawn 5 from Fordham. That could play a role down the stretch, but in the game that Fordham did win against St. Bonaventure, what did they do? They got to the line and they connected at an uber high rate, and that was led by Day Reeves. I think he was 12 for 12 at the free throw line in that game. The free throw battle always gets overlooked because you don't think about it, but if you miss 4 free throws in a 3-point game, that is the game, Chris.
Jerome Brewer Jr. leading this game for LaSalle and the game with 18 points, 2 of 3 from the three-point line, 7 of 10 from the field. Smith has it under the basket, hounded by Jacobs and Schulte, and a foul called. I believe that one is going to go on Akira Jacobs. It is. It's going to be Akira Jacobs' second, along with Rika Schulte. And LaSalle go back to the line. Akira Jacobs not liking that foul.
Better that it goes on Jacobs than Schulte, because Schulte already had 2. Now Jacobs and Schulte each have 2 after that one goes on Jacobs. Jacobs was doing great in the help defense there, but he got a little too greedy, was trying to reach in, and as soon as the ball handler went up, Harris for the shot, Jacobs was in illegal guarding position.
Harris missing the first free throw. Another guy notably not out there, Jack Whitbourne. That has to be because of his foul trouble. Smith good on the second free throw. LaSalle is trying to stay and claw on this one. 55-49. Fordham lead, 8:27 to go in the second half. Henry getting picked up on a double team. Coach Mike Magpayo will take a timeout and save his squad a little bit. Not many timeouts in this one. Coach Ryan Highland signaling to the official it will be a 30-second timeout.
And I think it's crucial because Fordham has struggled with fatigue at times this season, especially the backcourt. Day Reeves and Chris Henry, especially Chris Henry, really seemed gassed at the end of that Davidson game. He's working against a full court press. He's such a heavy usage guy. I mean, one stat tells the entire story. Day Reeves and Chris Henry are number 1 and number 2 in the A-10 in usage rate. The ball is in their hands, dare I say, way too much, frankly, because there's a lack of outside help, especially outside ball handlers. But that's part of the reason why Fordham has lost these close games and surrendered these big runs down the stretch. It's because they're guys that are guarding the point of attack and initiating the offense are getting gassed, and you can't blame them. They're playing 35-plus minutes a night. It's going to be interesting to see how they seem fatigue-wise and energy-wise at the end of this one.
And outside of Christian Henry and Day Reeves, from a ball handler perspective, a lot of the rest of that falls on Marcus Green. He's been pretty steady, relatively reliable tonight. Hasn't necessarily lit up the stat sheet, but hasn't turned the ball over either. Hasn't actively hurt this Fordham team. Kingston Price, another guy who would take some of the ball handling responsibilities for Fordham. We haven't seen him out there at all so far tonight.
It really puts all of the onus on these 2 ball handlers, and you can't blame them. They're really good players. They're great ball handlers, great initiators, great playmakers. Henry has 5 assists. Reeves has 4. They've taken care of the ball so well. 2 combined turnovers today for a duo that's averaged a combined 5 turnovers. So they're having a really good game, but this is the juncture where you might see one of them, specifically Chris Henry, has struggled down the stretch in games, kind of fall off a cliff, and that's not because of a lack of talent or anything. It's because they're being worn down so much. So that's why I think it's really nice to see Mike Magpayo call these timeouts instead of saving them for the end where you might need them situationally. Look, there's plenty of value in that, but given the reality that Fordham just doesn't have a lot of reliable ball handlers, you need to give them as much of a break as possible.
Both these teams with 2 timeouts left here in the second half. LaSalle still struggling mightily offensively. They're 1 for their last 8 field goals. Rikas Schulte making his last 4 field goals. And Akira Jacobs, as we talked about before, continuing to make his presence felt. And a front court, as you said, that is facilitated a lot by the backcourt and the talent of the backcourt. This front court has still made their own, has still stuck out and stood out on their own so far here tonight. A lot of that has come, of course, from the returning Roar core as well.
The execution of the scout is what stands out to me defensively in this half. 22% from the field is LaSalle because they don't take a lot of threes. So take that out of the game. They've only attempted 3 in the second half. Fordham's denying the three-point shot well. They're allowing the mid-range shot. LaSalle shoots as many middies as any other team, but they don't shoot them at a high rate. They only shoot them at a 37% clip. So you're allowing mid-rangers, and then when they get the ball into the low post, you're sending doubles and creating turnovers. The defensive game plan has been excellent here in the second period.
It's going to be Henry off the inbound. Back to Day Reeves, right wing, left around to Schulte screen. Back to Christian Henry. Henry now going left around to Jacobs screen. Henry, one-on-one with the much bigger defender. Step back at the free throw line. Back out. Day Reeves now has it. Guarded by Smith. Mid-range jumper. No good. Schulte there on the offensive rebound. Tried to go cross-court with it, and it's stolen away. Dockery and LaSalle going the other way. Trying to get it into Brewer. He does. Brewer guarded by the much smaller Day Reeves in the left block. Day picking up the reach-in foul. It was like David and Goliath in the bonus there.
Yeah. That's well put. LaSalle now in the bonus 1-1. Rest of the way, 7:52. That's a long way to go. I know Fordham's a disciplined team, But when you're hanging on to a slim lead, the last thing you want is the other team to reach the bonus first.
Christian Henry subbing out of this one. As I talked about before, Marcus Green coming into that role. We'll see how much of the ball handling responsibility he does. The Hawaii transfer had a down year last season after a really productive season the season before that. He was looking for a bounce back season this year. Hasn't quite come yet this season, but a lot of season left to go.
Absolutely, and that's where you need a Marcus Green or a Louis Lesmond to step up and have a breakout stretch of games.
Second free throw, no good for Jerome Brewer Jr. after he made the first. Day-Day Reeves now has it. 7:45 to go in the second half. A 5-point lead for the Rams. They're trying to expand on it. Reeves, deep on the left wing. Faking right around a Schulte screen, going left. Marcus Green, faking right, driving left. Trying to send a backdoor pass, ends up getting it to Schulte. Schulte backing down his defender. Left-handed sky hook shot, no good, fading, and LaSalle will get it back. Bad offensive possessions for the Rams. A quick catch and drive for Brewer Jr. leads to an and one. The momentum slowly shifting for LaSalle on both ends. They now trail by just 3. 55-52 Fordham lead. 7:18 to go in the second half.
A lot of things to shake your head about on those last two possessions. Marcus Green beats his defender, gets inside. He had a wide open layup, but trying to be unselfish and be a creator, what this team wants him to be, he looks for Rika Schulte, who's contested. And so he doesn't take the wide open layup, gives it to Schulte, who makes a poor choice to then shoot on a contested hook shot. And on the other end, Schulte's in poor defensive positioning, allows the and one.
The free throw for Josiah Harris's and one, no good. And we literally just talked about that, Joe. The ball facilitating of Marcus Green had hurt him there. Seems like it's just overthinking, Joe. You got to just play basketball at a certain point out there. Day-Day Reeves, top of the arc. Guarded by the much bigger Brewer. Left to right crossover. In the right side of the lane. Blocked by Brewer. Brewer getting a piece. Now it's Walker going the other way for LaSalle. Left to right, Euro step, and it goes with the right hand at the rim. Nifty work from Ashton Walker, the freshman from Virginia Beach, putting a Duracell in the back of his team. They trail by just one, 55-54, 6:43 to go here in the second half.
He's a three-star recruit out of high school. He leads all freshmen in the conference in minutes and assists. He's top 5 in the points per game category and the rebounding category, and he's trending upwards. This is a guy you're going to have to start scouting for. He's on the bench this year. If he stays with LaSalle, he's not going to be on the bench much longer.
And if we just talk about it from a momentum perspective, Joe, we felt a little bit of this from Fordham early, but I'm not sure any team, either Fordham or LaSalle, has had quite this much momentum.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like Fordham's had the momentum at this degree at points, especially a few minutes ago. But whenever Fordham has gone on these big runs, they've had a lot of trouble sustaining that. There's always been that counter run. So when Fordham has a 7-0 run, 7-2, 9-2, whatever it is, you don't have a whole ton of confidence that that's going to be evened out into a sustained stretch in which you outscore your opponent by 10 to 15 points. You know the game's going to be close. Fordham has not had a lead of greater than, 13 points in the game in A-10 play, and each time they had those big leads, they blew it and ended up being in a deficit at some point in those games.
From a culture and an identity perspective, this is massive for Coach Mike Magpaio's program. A 1-point lead with 6.5 to go here in the second half. Fordham has it, trying to add to their lead. Reeves splitting defenders. Left corner three, no good for Jacobs. Nice kick out from Day-Day Reeves. No good on the wide open three for Jacobs. Out of the right corner, wide open under the basket. Dockery finishes on the fiery rocket pass under the basket. It's going to be Day-Day Reeves now, trying to simmer and put out the fire, extinguish the fire, if you will. A pass to a cutting Henry in the left corner. That three, no good for Roricore. The catch and shoot three, no good. And LaSalle with a 1-point lead, trying to add to it. Walker diving in the lane, no good at the rim, but he'll go to the line for 2. Walker excited after that play. This LaSalle team starting to feel it. They have a lead, and they're going to the line.
This is the stretch that you talk about. In every game, all a conference season, where you have a lead and you squander it. That's what's happening before our eyes. The question, can this time Fordham, unlike every other time this conference season, except in their lone win in 7 games, reverse that trend and go on a run to seal this game in the clutch.
And Ashton Walker, good on his first free throw, not only of the trip, of the day. 1 of 1 so far tonight. 9 points, 4 assists, 1 rebound. Second free throw good as well. 2 for 2 at the line. After the free throws, Jack Whitbourne subbing back into this one. Whitbourne in foul trouble all evening long with 3 fouls, and his coach trusting in him to play this last 6 minutes or so.
Chris, 10-0 run, last 3 minutes flat for LaSalle. Fordham needs to put points on the board here.
3-point lead for LaSalle, 58-55, 5:44 to go in this one. Christian Henry out of the left wing. Fordham trying to score desperately. Henry to Day Reeves, deep on the right wing. Reeves, top of the arc to Christian Henry. Henry left wing, driving, spinning to Bodija. Pass in the right corner, wide open to Core. It goes! True freshman Rohrer Core gives his team a 3 in the exact moment they needed it. Fordham back level, 58-58, 5:15 to go here in this second half. This one shaping up to be a good one down the stretch.
Fordham 2-3 zone look has worked well.
Dockery to Walker, no good on the left wing 3. Of course, who else? Rohrer Core there on the defensive rebound.
You see the impact this kid has on a game to miss 3 threes and bang one in a kid's face to get us tied at 58.
Bas Bodija getting it to Jack Whitbourne, left wing. Dribble handoff, Day Reeves. Another dribble handoff, Christian Henry. Henry working on Walker. Step back 3, no good off back iron. Batted out rebound, gets to Day Reeves. Second chance for the Rams. Fordham trying to make the most of the second chance. Reeves guarded by the much bigger Brewer, as he has been all evening long. Pass in the right corner, Bodija. Bodija looked to get it inside, now drives. Pass to the cutting Day Reeves. No good on the contested layup, and now it's Brewer. Then the defensive rebound and bringing it the other way for the Explorers. Dockery trying to play it inside to Smith. He does. Smith backing down, putting up a shot. It's no good. A fight for it on the glass ends up with the Rams. Beautiful save and effort from Rohrer Core out of bounds.
Rohrer Core's in the student section, Chris.
You just want to take a seat. Christian Henry slowing this game and this offense down. Less than 4 minutes to go. Inside to Bas Bodija. An extra pass to Jack Whitbourne. His layup, no good off the backboard. The second chance, no good from Bas Bodija. It's Josiah Harris on the ground holding his face after that play and after LaSalle corralled the defensive rebound and a stoppage of play for Josiah. Josiah seems like he's okay. We'll get up and give his bench a thumbs up. And it's going to be a review from the officials and a timeout from the teams. Both teams going to their bench.
Yeah, I didn't see what happened to give him that facial injury, but man, 2 wide open looks for Bodija and Schultz to miss those. I mean, those are the looks in a close game. 58-58. You're fighting for that second conference win. That's the one that Mike McPile, when you're in the office with him chatting about the game, says, man, if that play just went differently. These are the kinds of moments that have come back to hurt Fordham, not just because you leave 2 points on the board, but from a momentum standpoint, that it's so frustrating for a player to see a wide open layup get missed and then to have to go back on defense and then to have to weather the storm through a timeout and to get back to action and to try and put it behind them. The kind of moments that have created a 1-6 team in conference play.
The Fordham Rams, 1 timeout left. This is a media timeout, but they only have 1 to work with for the last almost 4 minutes of the second half. We'll have the rest of that almost 4 minutes in a second, but first, we're going to send it back to the Rose Hill Studios for a one-on-one scoreboard update with the one, the only, Travis Hayden. Take it away, Travis.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
The Chicago Bulls are playing the Indiana Pacers right now. They are up by 6 in the third quarter with 2 minutes 25 seconds left. The Bulls are up on the Pacers. The Cavaliers are spoiling LeBron James' homecoming game in Cleveland. There is 5 minutes 24 seconds left in the third quarter, and the Cavaliers are up by 15. At halftime, the Atlanta Hawks are up 60-46 against the Boston Celtics. And at halftime as well, the Orlando Magic are down against the Miami Heat, 68-59. The Raptors are looking to edge out a 3-seed win over the New York Knicks. They are up 51-47 at halftime. And with 7 minutes and 13 seconds remaining in the second quarter, the Charlotte Hornets are winning a game right now, even though it is only by 2 points, 45-43. Second quarter, still most of the action to go. I'm Travis Hayden, and this has been the one-on-one scoreboard update.
(58-58). Fordham and LaSalle tied here in the Bronx. We'll have the last 3:43 of the second half. But first, to our sideline reporter, MHG, Mary Hannah Gallagher. All you, Mary.
Thank you, Chris. It was a rough start to the second half for Fordham. A couple of free throws followed by back-to-back turnovers on the defensive end, but it really stalled their momentum early, but that was a while ago. The response was immediate, and Fordham answered with a three and a shot that felt like it put to the end of that rocky opening stretch. And it's been a theme tonight. Every shot the Rams give, it feels like the Explorers have another one ready to give right back. The effort that has been showing up on the scoreboard, and these Rams are beginning to assert some dominance. Magpio has been urging the bench to calm down, get fired up, and they won't chance to score at this point, only how the Rams carry themselves in these final minutes well. LaSalle has been getting to the line more frequently the second half, though, so the emphasis for Fordham bench is clear. Get up and down the court faster, stay disciplined, and keep the pressure on as the Rams look to end their losing streak tonight at home. Back to you guys.
Almost a delayed turnover for the Fordham offense. Roricourt traveled. It was uncalled, and he turned it over anyway. LaSalle trying to take the lead. 3 minutes left to go in the second half. 58-58. Marshall working out of the left block. Past top of the arc. Dockery driving inside, and he's stripped away. Stripped away in the lane by Rika Schulta. Christian Henry picks it up off the ground. He has it in transition. Driving inside. Layup goes. No foul, but it was contested as heck, and he was screaming under the basket after that play. He was pumped up.
That's all 30 to give you the lead. He stripped the ball. He dove on the floor. He recovered. He drove the other way. He drew contact. He finished to put you up by 2. Clutch plays from Chris Henry.
Walker, a pass inside to Smith. He misses at the rim. 2 straight heartbreaking misses at the rim on back-to-back possessions for LaSalle. They'll actually hold on to it after the miss. Out of bounds on the baseline, off of Fordham, called on the floor by the officials. LaSalle will inbound it on the right side of the baseline. It will be Ashton Walker taking it out. Another chance for LaSalle. 2:20 on the game clock, 20 on the shot clock. 60-58, Fordham lead. Right corner, Marshall 3. No good off the inbound. Rika Schulta there on the defensive glass, and he's fouled almost immediately by Texas A&M transfer Rob Dockery. He's still on the ground, slightly dazed and delayed to get up.
6th foul from LaSalle. Next one puts you in the bonus.
It's 6 fouls for LaSalle, 9 fouls for the Rams. And a 60-58 Rams lead. 2:12 to go in this second half. Day Reeves, who else has it? To Christian Henry. Henry back to Reeves. A game of hot potato. To Roricourt, right corner, wide open 3. No good off back iron. Another open 3 missed for the Rams down the stretch. LaSalle now has it, they control.
That's the exact look you want from Roricourt. Fordham in a 2-3 zone here again. It's worked really well today.
LaSalle trail by 2, 145. Pass to Walker, right wing 3, wide open, no good. Bodija fighting on the defensive glass, he has it. It'll be Christian Henry to bring it up for the Rams.
Ashton Walker is a 28% three-point shooter. Fordham has lived with those takes on the wing out of the 2-3 zone all day. That's why they're winning this game.
Fordham going left to right in their home white uniforms. 2-point lead, 1:20 to go in the matchup. Henry deep on the right wing, 8 on the shot clock, 6 on the shot clock, right to left crossover, fakes the step back, twirls inside, puts up a floater, middle of the lane, no good. Walker there on the rebound. LaSalle once again has it offensively. They'll slow it down and call a timeout. It's Darius Nichols as soon as his team crosses half court, calling a timeout. 1:01 on the second half clock, 60-58, still the Fordham lead. Both offenses having a real hard time scoring the basketball.
Fordham, on one end, has scored only 5 points in the last 4 minutes and 51 seconds. That's not great. Well, LaSalle scored 0. Scoreless for almost 5 minutes, but this next offensive possession, that's the most important one to leave them empty-handed on for Fordham on offense on that one, man. Chris Henry held the ball for 30 full seconds, and look, he's been hot of late. He's made a couple of huge plays down the stretch. You could argue on that last play to get Fordham in the lead. He's the sole reason why they're in the lead. But on that possession, it feels like you just have to initiate the offense sooner. You can't trust yourself to create your own look at the buzzer on a bigger defender trying to spin in the lane. It was a wild shot. It almost went off the glass, but that's just not a good enough look from Chris Henry. I'd like to see Fordham try and play inside out in a moment like that. A possession that crucial can't be 30 seconds with one man holding the ball unless that man is named Day Reeves.
From a rebounding perspective, one of the things we touched on the most at halftime was how Fordham was getting out offensive rebounded. That has almost completely gone away. Fordham with 11 to LaSalle's 14, still getting out rebounded, but nowhere near at the clip they were prior. On the defensive rebounding end, Fordham out defensive rebounding this team 26 to 23. It's been a dedication to dominating under the basket for Fordham that has kept them where they are in this one. Fordham, as competitive as they've been since their St. Bonaventure game 4 games ago in the conference. 1:01 to go on the clock. LaSalle with the ball offensively. 60-58 Fordham lead. Marshall top of the key to Dockery, left wing. Dockery left to right crossover. Driving on the much smaller Christian Henry. Tried to give a backdoor pass. Harris ends up gathering it. Missed it at the rim. Bodisha started the fight that Akira Jacobs then finished. Akira Jacobs there on the defensive glass gives it to Day Reeves. Day Reeves and Fordham has possession.
Day-Day's got it. It's dagger time.
Dagger time for Day. Gives it to Christian Henry. Fordham working for the final score offensively. Back to Day Reeves, left wing. Day. Not looking for the screen. Working on Smith. Step back, mid-range. It's good! A Day dagger. 13 seconds on the clock. LaSalle moving. No timeout, and it's stolen. Stolen by Christian Henry at midcourt, and he's fouled almost immediately. What a stretch from the Fordham Rams, but Joe, more specifically, the Fordham Rams backcourt. Christian Henry and Day Reeves on both ends of the floor getting it done for their Fordham Rams.
You might not see it in the box score, but they have willed this team to victory in a game that they needed so badly. A must-win game if there ever was one.
After the Day score and the Christian Henry steal that led to a foul, it's a 4-point lead for Fordham, 62-58, 8.4 on the game clock, a 1-1 for Christian Henry. He's at the line taking his first. Henry good on the first. A true sign of things possibly changing for Magpayo's unit, a guy who struggled all year at the line in big, high-pressure free throws. He's getting it done. Not even hitting the rim. Nothing but nylon on the first attempt. Henry on the second. Gets it to go. 2 for 2. Absolutely perfect for Christian Henry. A 6-point lead for the Rams. 64-58. One timeout for LaSalle. We would assume they use it. They get across half court. Walker wide open for 3. No good. Day Reeves is there soaring for the defensive rebound. And the Fordham Rams get it done down the stretch, and they secure a 64-58 victory against LaSalle. The LaSalle Explorers and the Fordham Rams get what is possibly their grittiest win and most character-building win of the season. What a win, and their first win, Joe, in the conference at home. That's got to feel good for Coach Mike Magpayo and company.
10 days ago, you called it the worst fight of the season. That was Mike Magpayo, what he had to say after Fordham's loss to Duquesne. 1 week ago to the day, it felt like something had changed for the worse for this team. To have had a lead on the road against Davidson and to have lost it, and to have to take the long trek home after a game like that. You wondered after the bye if Fordham was going to have anything in the tank to throw a punch here in the second portion of this A-10 season and to maybe even make a statement. I don't know if they did that much today, but to get this win, one that they sorely needed, to move to 2-6, to earn win number 100 in the career of Coach Mike Magpayo, this team needed it badly, and so did all of the players on this unit. Chris Henry needed it badly. Day Reeves needed it badly. Roar Core coming back needed it badly. This coaching staff needed it badly.
And now joining us, assistant coach. He had the head scout for this one, Coach Troy Hamill, assistant coach Troy Hamill. Coach, you had the scout for this one, and from a defensive perspective, I don't know if this team could have been more prepared. The lack of efficiency from LaSalle was palpable to the stuff and the work that you guys put in throughout the week.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, I give a lot of credit to our group here. I think just a real focus, locked-in preparation all week, coming off the bye, able to rest our bodies a little bit, but they attacked every practice. This team's tough. This team's physical. So it was really a no-paint scout for us, really trying to limit their penetration, especially in that second half. I mean, to hold them to 24%, that'll win you a bunch of ball games. So real great effort by our guys.
And to talk about this backcourt, Day-Day Reeves, Chris Henry, maybe he doesn't jump out of the page on the box score, but the hustle plays they made and the clutch plays they made down the stretch, the evolution that you've seen from them together, especially for Henry, working back from the concussion, I feel like this was probably their best combined performance since that happened.
And capping it off with Christian Henry, 2 of 2 at the line.
Yes, absolutely.
It didn't even touch the rim.
No, for sure. No doubters. No doubters there. I think Christian's really trying to getting his legs back underneath him after that time, but again, two senior guards with a lot of experience. Just didn't quite have the chemistry yet, but as we continue to grow through this season, they're really trying to finding a rhythm with one another, and just two guys you can really trust, which is huge, especially in the A-10. To have a couple guards down the stretch, you can put the ball in their hands, know they're going to make the right decisions. Another big-time closer, Day-Day with the pull-up, Christian with 2 free throws. Just really proud of those two.
And we expect it coming in, but Roar Core flying all over the place today. Even in his first game back, it felt he really asserted himself, even at that age. We've talked about it all season long, how young he is. How important is he to just your group from an off the court and on the court perspective?
Oh, he's huge, and I think the best thing about him is he's just fearless, both ends of the floor, so he's going to fly around, not afraid to take a big shot, not afraid to stick his nose in there on the defensive end. So we've missed his length, his presence out there for the past handful of games, so to have him back made a big difference for us tonight, for sure.
And Coach, you've been with Coach Mike Magpie for 4 years now. This was win number 100 of his coaching career. Just speak to that accomplishment for him and what it's like to work with him and how nice it was to get this win for him.
Oh, just unbelievable accomplishment. That's 100 games. 100 wins is a lot in college basketball. The success he's had in his first 5 years. I know just the way he works, the way he prepares. He's certainly deserving. I've grown immensely just working underneath him. It's an honor and a privilege. So this is well deserved, and we'll make sure to celebrate with him tonight. That's for sure.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. You look sharp as well. I have to say that. Before we get off
the bucket hats for you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. Assistant Coach Troy Hamill, as Joe Henry said, 4-year assistant for Coach Mike Magpie, also an 1,000-point scorer at Merrimack College, and that was just awesome to hear. Obviously, Coach is proud of his team leading the scout and getting that sort of performance, but that sort of feeling of seeing your guys really perform that way with that sort of hustle, Joe, that must be just an intoxicating feeling.
I mean, they've worked so hard to get Chris Henry right, and at the end of the day, it's about Chris Henry. He's the guy who's on the floor, who's charged with making the play, and let's be frank, he has struggled immensely, but also all this weight is on his shoulders. To be one of the highest usage rate guys in your league, to try and lead a team that's trying to start fresh in its program and has so many new players, when you're one of really only 2 ball handlers on the entire team, there's so much placed upon your shoulders. And in a game where you're not shooting the ball well, 3 of 11, and really you haven't been efficient at all since you came back, to still make all the necessary plays and to play for a full 40 minutes, to fight through the fatigue that has ended so many games for Fordham this season, to use that to your advantage, to tire LaSalle out, and to have Chris Henry and Day-Day Reeves together will this team to victory. I think it's a statement win, and it's symbolic of what this Fordham team has become.
An inspiring feel-good win here on the campus of Fordham University for the Rams. Fordham wins 64-58, their first win at home in the conference, their second win in the conference overall. This Fordham team is going to go back on the road after being in their last game at Davidson. They'll go to George Washington. That game's on Saturday, and it's at 2 p.m. from the nation's capital. From here, from the Rose Hill Gym, of course, a thank you to my partner, as always, Joe Henry. We had fantastic sideline reports today and thorough sideline reports today from Mara Hannah Gallagher. We always appreciate MEHG, and of course to my left, at Max Langer here on the Beat Report as well. Going to send it back to the Rose Hill Studios for a one-on-one post-game report with, of course, who we've heard from all night long, Travis Hayden, and our host, Izzy Rendazzo. Take it away, guys.
The one-on-one post-game report.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rose Hill Studios for our post-game report for this evening's game. I'm your studio host, Izzy Rendazzo, joined by my co-host, Travis Hayden. I'm happy to report that our Fordham Rams did indeed reign victorious this evening, surpassing their competition, the LaSalle Explorers, with a 6-point lead. The final score of this riveting game was 64-58, and I'll say the second half of this game was an exhilarating experience. Travis?
Yeah, no, that second half was something else. Like, one of the craziest endings you'll see to a game. It was coming right down to the wire. But Fordham brought the energy at the end of the game.
They did.
They not only did they make a huge they made a huge defensive play and turned it right into offense, and that was all it needed to seal the game.
Yes.
Christian Henry's going to the line at the end of the game to finish it off. But really, the Day Reeves jumper, the ball was stolen. There was a scrap for it before, and Day Reeves, he brought the energy with that jump shot, and we 11-10 now. That winning energy is here heading into the rest of the A10.
It is, definitely. And we didn't know this before, but this is actually win number 100 for Coach Magpayo. So that's a pretty crazy accomplishment for him. We're very happy for him.
100 wins, and you get it in the A10. He gets it his second A10 win. Happens to be his 100th career win. That's really awesome. The defense stepped up big time to make that happen.
Yes.
Fordham's offense was kind of the same throughout the second half.
Yes.
They scored 32 points both halves, but the big difference is they didn't let up 34 this time. They let up 24, and just stepping up in a big way for Magpie to secure his 100th win.
Definitely. We're super happy to see it. And as our own Joe Henry said, this team really willed themselves and got together as a team to get to their victory. And like we kind of talked about before, this game really came down to the wire. And because of that Day jumper and that quick Chris Henry steal, this game was Fordham's, which was incredible to see. It truly was very exciting down to the very last seconds. And I think this game boosted the team's morale tremendously. They certainly came out with a different type of energy, a more enhanced, a more exciting, more electrified energy, after what I can only imagine was a great pep talk by the Fordham coaches in halftime in their locker room.
Yeah, something I said about the game before was I said it's 2-0.
It's 2-0.
It's 2-0. It's a whole new game. And Fordham, if you look at the box score at this, it's such a complete game played by everybody. Like everybody nobody really, it was a team win. Off the stat sheet, no, it's not like anybody's really popping out, but everybody consistently played well and had a bunch of players going for 5 or more points.
Definitely.
That's something that you can't lose if that's the formula right there.
Yes.
Akira Jacobs with a game, he was your leading scorer with 13. But when you got Riga Schulte with 8 and he's going 4 for 5, and you have Day Reeves who had 11 but is winning game winners, and you have Lou Lesman coming off the bench having 8, and then Chris Henry also having 8, who's been our leading scorer for the year. You're just seeing guys finally start to play as a team, and they figured that out mostly in the second half and started to win.
It was definitely a complete game. I really like how you worded that because we saw a lot of things from a lot of different players, and we kind of highlighted, especially our two broadcasters, highlighted the fact that Roracor, the true freshman, the fearless true freshman, as they like to say, really asserted himself in this game. He was everywhere. He was aggressive. He was shooting. He was doing amazing work on the floor. And also Louis Lesmond. We don't see him playing that often, but he shot some threes and they sunk beautifully. So it's nice to see how different members of this Fordham team are able to contribute and able to contribute well.
Yeah, 3 for 4. Any coach will take that any day of the week.
Day
if you throw up 4 shots and you're giving us 9 points, just please, right now, on my team immediately. That might just go to show, hey, maybe get Lou out there to shoot the rock a little bit more.
Yeah.
8 for 21 on the day for Fordham from the line, not bad. 8 for 25, actually. It was 4 for 18 for LaSalle. So, again, that's a big that's 3 more or 4 more shots, and Lou had 3 of those. So, like, at that point, he's contributing majorly to this game. He's doing something the other team can't. LaSalle had a player to go off for 21 points, and Jerome Brewer Jr., which is very interesting to think about, considering the fact that Fordham, Akira Jacobs only had 13. But it goes to show how much of a team sport basketball is in general.
It does. It's also interesting to note how Fordham is not typically a large scoring team. You know, they do better with other aspects of the game, like, of course, rebounding. And actually, this game, I was surprised because they were not beating LaSalle in terms of rebounding by a large margin. I think it was only about 2 rebounds that they were up, which is kind of atypical for their season so far. And it just... Obviously, like, they're a very good rebounding team. But, yeah, they had 39 and LaSalle had 37. So seeing them kind of do different things on the court, like focus on scoring a little bit more, was interesting to see. And obviously, you know, that's how they were able to secure the win, I think, for this game.
Yeah, they had a great number on the defensive boards, but this is the first time this season I'm seeing a team that has had more offensive rebounds than Fordham on. Like, that does not happen with Rikas Schulte.
It does not happen for Rikas, never, honestly.
He just goes out there and grabs all the boards he possibly can.
He does. It honestly seems like some of the star players, with the exception of Day and Chris, were not doing kind of what they usually do. There were a lot of foul troubles with Jack Whitbourne, a little bit less rebounds than we usually see from Rikas, but that kind of goes to show how other players are learning how to contribute more, and this team is being spread out more than just a few couple guys.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, because that when it did seem like it was just like, oh, Rikas rebound, Christian score, it didn't seem like it was doing as well for a Fordham season, and like we couldn't really hold on to the consistency for it.
Yes.
Now you're starting to see Fordham is winning. They're not dominating the numbers like they are sometimes, like they are when they're losing sometimes.
It's interesting to know, yes, because that's true. A lot of the time they will be out rebounding their competition, but they'll lose
have
by
like 15 plus more rebounds, but they'll be losing by like 8 or 9.
It's interesting because typically you wouldn't think that would be the case, but for this Fordham team,
right? It's the rebounding that usually tends to get like, oh, when you're winning the rebound battle, you're winning the stat sheet, or you're winning the game. That's usually what the stat sheet says at all the levels. At like when you look at the NBA or other college basketball games.
Yes.
Fordham will have like 13 offensive boards in like the first 10 minutes, and you'll be like, how are we losing by 4 right now?
It's an interesting team to look at because they're not like all other teams. They've got a lot of, since I think because they have a lot of new faces this year, they have a lot of different types of talent, a lot of different types of players. Their game is just, if you compare it to any other game, any other team in this conference or even in the NCAA, it's just different.
Yeah, it feels like we have a lot of great guys that to like do the role. It's like even not even just like role players, like guys that are exceptionally good at their role.
Yes.
Like if you need rebounding, like Rikas Schulte, you can't
Schulte's
have
your guy.
Anybody else other than him. You wouldn't want anybody else. Christian Henry can go out and get you 16 a game.
He
like
can.
At sometimes.
Yeah.
Day Reeves could go out and give you around the 16 a game. You have these just bunch of people, like, and sometimes the scoring and it's like the shooting percentage isn't there, but the rebounds will be, or they're not even taking as many shots as the other team. They'll like turn the ball over. It's just like sometimes you start to think with this Fordham team, it's like the pieces are there. It just all needs to click.
It does.
And as you say, energy.
We
need our energy. You need the energy high, so you could, because when the energy is high, you can beat anybody.
That's true.
You can go into these tough conference games and be like, hey, they're no different than us.
Yes.
Duquesne were supposed to beat us by 15. We were down by 3 at halftime.
Yeah.
You just need good energy going.
You do, 100%. So what do you think, kind of going into this game, this upcoming Saturday, January 31st, Fordham at George Washington? What do we think Fordham needs to do to continue on their winning path, kind of going off of this win tonight?
They got to get to the line more.
They do.
It's still something. They had 4 in the first half. They had 4 this half, and then also, if you could see, LaSalle took 18.
It's a lot.
If you could we just got to get to the line. I feel like abuse that a little bit more. Like, I don't want to say abuse. I'm not talking about Shea Gilgeous-Alexander right now. But we need to, if we could, like, we're shooting 100% from the line. Like, even if you miss one of those, like, at least you're slowing the game down. You're getting there. You're giving your offense a breather, and you're getting points.
Yes.
There's no reason why we should be trying to go for 18, like foul bait a little bit more.
Yes.
Go shoot 18 free throws a game. See what, like, we're not doing it right. We didn't do it tonight, and we won anyway.
Yes.
And the last two were just like at the end of the game, so like it was the intentional fouls so that he would miss, but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So 8 for 8. Just please try and get to the line a little bit more. If we can start seeing double digits at the line,
It'd be tremendous.
right?
I think
It slows the game down.
It does, definitely. I think, kind of building off of this storyline that the season has been faced with, I would just like to see Fordham sink their threes a little bit more. They shot a little bit better tonight than their average. They usually average 29% from three, and tonight they shot 32%, which before I think it was about 30% or 31%. It is a slow, gradual increase, but I would just like to see them, be more successful with their threes, because it is such a crucial facet of the game of basketball. And a lot of their points do come from in the paint, which is obviously, that's going to happen when you have big players like Jack Whip or Enrique Schulte in the paint defending, or offensively defending, but they need to spread out a little bit more and try to get points in different ways.
Yeah. And again, those points, if Enrique Schulte gets a board, like an offensive board, I'm thinking just go. He could go up with go for the foul, dude. Like contact. That's all it is.
Yes.
You just get hit in the arm a little bit. You slow your game down. You potentially get 1 or 2 points for your team. Clock's not moving. Other team's not moving. You're taking a breather. Your team's getting rest. You might need to get that sub in. I would really like to see them go to like more than 8 trips at the line.
I would too. Well, we'll hope. We'll, keep them in our thoughts, keep them in our prayers. I think that's going to do it for today's Fordham men's basketball broadcast. This broadcast was made possible thanks to our amazing staff. In the Rose Hill Gym and on the call, we had Chris Carino on play-by-play, Joe Henry on color, and Mary Hannah Gallagher reporting from the sidelines. Back in the studio, we had Travis Hayden on updates, Thomas Tisdale as our producer behind the glass, and as always, Bobby Charfadini is our sports director here at WFUV. I've been Izzy Randazzo, your studio host, and this has been a WFUV sports production of A10 Men's Basketball.